उसकी तरफ आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी का ध्यान आकर्षित करूंगा। 2 मार्च 2023 को लगभग 130 सफ़े के निर्णय में अनूप बरनवाल में जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा, मैं उसकी 8 या 9 लाइन इस सदन में पढ़कर बताना चाहूँगा। उन्होंने कहा पैरा 9 में, द एग्जेक्टिव अलोन बीइंग इन्वॉल्व्ड, एंड आई कोट, द एग्जेक्टिव अलोन बीइंग इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द अपॉइंटमेंट ensures that the commission becomes and remains a partisan body and a branch of the executive. The independence of the commission is intimately interlinked with the process of appointment. Para 165. The election commissioners, including the chief election commissioner, blessed with nearly infinite powers and who are to abide by the fundamental rights, must be chosen not by the executive exclusively and particularly without any objective yardstick. So sir, 2 बातें कही गई। पहला कि एग्जेक्टिव एक्सक्लूसिवली चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की नियुक्ति नहीं कर सकता। दूसरा, किसी ऑब्जेक्टिव यार्डस्टिक के बगैर ये नहीं किया जा सकता। और इसी पैराग्राफ में कोर्ट ने एक कॉशन भी किया, एन इलेक्शन कमीशन which does not ensure free and fair polls as per the rules of the game guarantees the breakdown of the foundations of the rule of law। यानी रूल ऑफ ऐसा चुनाव आयोग जो निष्पक्ष नहीं है, जो एग्जेक्टिव के द्वारा नियुक्त किया जा रहा है, या फिर वो एग्जेक्टिव के इंटरफेरेंस से परे नहीं। इक्वली द स्टर्लिंग क्वालिटीज विच वी हैव डिस्क्राइब्ड, which must be possessed by us, by an election commission, is indispensable for an unquestionable adherence to the guarantee of equality in Article 14। लगभग 230 सफ़े का ये जो जजमेंट है, उसमें 2 बातें साफ हैं। नंबर 1, the CEC and the EC, they must be arm's length from the government। Number 2, the process has to be beyond influence or under the diktat of the executive of the day। Exactly what Baba Sahib had said, exactly what the Constituent Assembly had said was reiterated, was reaffirmed by none less than the Supreme Court judgment to which the learned minister is referring to। May I say, sir, that clause 7 militates against, I am deliberately using that word, I hope it's not unparliamentary, sir, and I am subject to correction.
Surely there could be another word.
Yeah, it violates, negates the rigors and the affirmation by the Constituent Assembly, by Baba Sahib Ambedkar, by other individuals and honorable members of the Constituent Assembly. It militates against the very spirit of the Constitution that is enshrined in Article 14. It completely negates and subjugates Election Commission to the authority of the executive, and it does away with, may I respectfully say, it does away with willingly, if I may say maliciously, the judgment of the Supreme Court in toto. And that's why this law is per se like a stillborn child. Thirdly, sir, I also want to point out, sir, जैसा माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने कहा, आर्टिकल 14 जो हमारे मौलिक अधिकार का हिस्सा है और जो सत्ता में बैठे हुए सत्ताधीशों के बेलगाम कार्यों पर अंकुश लगाने का सबसे बड़ा तरीका है, ये पूरा कानून उस आर्टिकल 14 के लेटर और स्पिरिट के विरुद्ध है और मौलिक अधिकारों का उल्लंघन है। इसलिए जैसा माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने भी कहा, सर, सभापति जी, अपॉइंटमेंट्स कमेटी जो है वो अब एक एम्प्टी फॉर्मेलिटी है, इफ आई मे यूज दैट वर्ड, सर, क्योंकि अपॉइंटमेंट कमेटी है क्या? माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी द्वारा मनोनीत किए गए उनके एक और मंत्री। तो एक कहावत है गांव की, क्योंकि मैं ग्रामीण पृष्ठभूमि से हूं, आप भी, कि अंधा बाटे सीरड़ी मुड़ मुड़ अपने को दे। If Prime Minister and his minister is going to be the majority in the committee, why have the committee? Let the Prime Minister appoint everybody. Why even have this law? It's an empty formality. Secondly, sir, Supreme Court said, Constituent Assembly said, the first law minister of the country, Baba Sahib Ambedkar, said that ruling regimes to nominees make the entire process ineffective and negatory and redundant. And this is what the Supreme Court also said. I want to quote from those 4 lines in para 8 of that judgment, and I quote, sir, like the judiciary. In fact, वो एक कदम आगे गए और उन्होंने कहा चुनाव आयोग में और न्यायपालिका में कोई अंतर नहीं. And I quote, sir, para 8, like the judiciary, the Election Commission must display fearless independence in the absence of norms regarding the appointment. A central norm, that is institutional integrity, is adversely affected. An independent appointment mechanism would guarantee eschewing of even the prospect of bias. Sir, this is what the Supreme Court said. This is what the framers of the Constitution said. This is what this government is afraid of. I'm saying it with a sense of responsibility. For they don't want an independent election commission and CEC and EC. They want a pocket borough. उन्हें एक जेबी चुनाव आयोग की आवश्यकता है. ये कानून एक जेबी चुनाव आयोग का गठन करेगा. आप जेब से चुनाव आयोग निकालेंगे और जो आप चाहेंगे फिर वो प्रजातंत्र के साथ वो करेगा. इस कानून का फाइनल मतलब यही है सर. यू पिक और चूज का एक फॉर्मूला होगा. सर, मे आई रिस्पेक्टफुली ऑल्सो से सर that it does not pass any kind of constitutional muster. We have to be aware, this is an august house. After all, we have to be aware as to what we are doing and saying and what we are passing. This is manifestly arbitrary. These are ill-conceived attempt. This law is an ill-conceived attempt at consolidating undue executive control, total executive control over the electoral body, that is the Election Commission. It also, the process is arbitrary, the intent is malicious, and the result is disastrous, if I may say. That is what is going to happen, sir. And, sir, I again take the liberty of last time quoting the Supreme Court, where they said in para 119.
Before that, let me remind the honorable member.
Yes, sir.
With highest respect to everyone, the Parliament is the sole repository of lawmaking. And this is wisdom of the Parliament. Neither the executive, nor the judiciary, nor any other body.
So my time may be stopped.
No, I'm aware of that. Since majorly you are focused on Supreme Court judgment, as if the reflections therein have to bind us. I would expect the debate to rise to a very high level because, because this House, this Parliament, to the exclusion of any other entity, be it executive or judiciary, is supreme when it comes to lawmaking, and you are part of it. Extra 30 seconds.
Thank you.
कल तो और कुछ बोले सर. कल तो और कुछ बोल रहे थे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट.
You both are.
परसों और कुछ बोल रहे थे.
I'm really surprised.
कोई बात.
I am really surprised, both of you.
Sir,
it is time we rise to some level at least.
सर, कल आप ही बोले थे.
सभापति महोदय.
You represent a party that has a great history.
सर, आप ही कल बोले.
क्या बोले? Let the honorable member rise and indicate what I spoke. Please rise. Take your seat. Indicate what I spoke. What did I say?
सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट के बारे में आपने बोला जब कोई कोर्ट कर रहा था.
Would you be good enough to quote me?
Sir,
Do it during course of the day.
Sir, I'm doing, sir. You allow me, you're not allowing me.
Mr. Nasir Hussain, during course of the day, go to the proceedings of the House yesterday and put it on the table that you rely on that. It is not a good habit. I am only making a plea to the members that we are Parliament of 1/6 of humanity. We are supreme when it comes to lawmaking. We cannot suffer intervention from any other organ, be it executive or judiciary. That's what I'm saying. Honorable member may continue. One sir, please take your seat. If there is a number, if your time comes, take your seat. Yes.
Sabhapati ji, let me begin by thanking you for your words of wisdom. You are much seasoned, both in age and experience, both in law as also perhaps in parliamentary practices. You have held many offices. But with all humility may I say, sir, you are 100% right that Parliament is the august body and is the overarching body. It is the fountainhead of democracy. But even the fountainhead of democracy, sir, will have its sanctity when it does not commit arbitrary acts and passes arbitrary law. The fountainhead of democracy must adhere to the very tenets of democracy out of which it is born. There is a power higher than us, and that is democracy itself and the Constitution itself. We may not be the interpreters of Constitution, we are framers of law. It is the Constituent Assembly and the Parliament which continues to amend that Constitution which enacted by the Constituent Assembly. But there is something called a higher spirit of democracy and an accountability to the constitutional norms. So as I stand today here, sir, and as I say what I say to my esteemed minister, who is very experienced, and I place before you, with you all your wisdom and experience, I must say I am conscious, I am duty-bound, and I am answerable to that highest spirit of democracy and the Constitution which was enacted by this very Parliament. And that spirit of the Constitution and that spirit of democracy today tells me, sir, that a law is being brought which will tarnish, bulldoze and sabotage that very democracy and undermine the very constitutional practice that you and me and each one of us swear by. And that is my anguish today, which I seek to place through you before this august House and also place before the Honorable Minister. Supreme Court only interprets the Constitution. They are also defender and protector of the Constitution. Many times we have said that. And I did not quote the Supreme Court in the beginning, may I remind you, sir. I'm only responding to what the Honorable Chair said to me. I began by the words of and the wisdom of Baba Sahib Ambedkar. I began by the wisdom of Constituent Assembly. And this was the only issue. Independence of Election Commission, lack of interference from the political executive, and an electoral machinery which is only and only answerable to the tenets of democracy and fairness and equity was all that the Constituent Assembly was saying. We have seen, we have read through, sir, you've read through, I've read through many times the debates of the Constituent Assembly on many, many facets. Rarely I've found, rarely I may say, and please correct me because you've read perhaps Constituent Assembly debates far more times than I have, but I have also. Rarely I've found that not a single member of the Constituent Assembly disagreed that the fountainhead of democracy is fairness of the electoral process and independence of the election machinery. This was the only issue where the entire Constituent Assembly, irrespective of caste, color, creed, religion, political differences, ideological differentiation, they were unanimous. And that's all that I pointed out to the Honorable Minister. That's why, sir, I did not begin with the judgment of the Supreme Court. And I said, Supreme Court has only affirmed what was said by the Constituent Assembly. May I, sir, also point out?
Conclude, please conclude.
Yes, sir. I also want to point out that the law and what the Honorable Minister has brought, he negates and ignores not one, not two, but the 3 committees on the subject, 2 of which were appointed by your government. And may I just quote, sir? There was the Dinesh Goswami Committee on Electoral Reforms. Perhaps the chair was also a minister at that time in that government, sir. You were a minister. And that government was supported by the Bharatiya Janata Party, sir, then. It said, and I quote the report.
It was supported by nearly the entire House except your party.
Yes, sir. And what did that report say? So, I am only saying, कम से कम जो खुद कहा है भैया उसको तो मान लीजिए. हाथ जोड़कर इतना ही कह रहा हूँ, हमारी ना मानिए. Para 1.2 on page 9 of the report says, for CEC appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice, Leader of Opposition of Lok Sabha, and of course the largest leader of the largest opposition group. For EC, Chief Justice, Leader of Opposition, and the CEC. This was the recommendation made, ignored by the Honorable Minister. Again, their own Law Commission report number 255 on electoral reforms 2015, headed by Justice AP Shah. May I remind the Minister? What did that report say? Para 6 point, I'll just take, sir, 3 minutes by the watch.
You are eating into the time of your party only.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't think so. My party has an objection, sir.
Go ahead.
And I'm sure the chair has none either.
The total time allocation to your party is 41 minutes.
Yes,
You
sir.
have taken 24.
Yes.
Can continue up to 41 if they agree.
Okay, sir. Para 6.12.5, sir, of the Law Commission report number 255 of 2015, headed by Justice AP Shah. I want to remind the Minister, and I quote, the appointment of all the election commissioners, including the CEC, should be made by the President in consultation with a 3-member collegium or selection committee consisting of the Prime Minister, the Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha or the Leader of the largest opposition party in Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. जब वो लॉ कमीशन की रिपोर्ट मानने की बारी आई मंत्री जी, तो आप इस दोनों बातों को खा गए. जो आपके लॉ कमीशन की रिपोर्ट है और आपके
use some other word. खा गए नहीं को.
आप उसको ओमिट कर गए, सर. ओके सर, आई स्टैंड करेक्टेड, सर.
Because he has unimpeachable credentials.
Very well, sir. I concede. Sir, my next short point is, अगर आप क्लॉज 5 ऑफ द बिल को भी ध्यान से देखें तो एक बड़ी यूनिक बात है. पहली बार ये निर्णय कर दिया गया कि चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और इलेक्शन कमिश्नर अब हिंदुस्तान का कोई नागरिक नहीं हो सकता except one category. There is complete reservation now on who can be CEC and EC. Either a serving secretary government of India or a retired secretary government of India. मतलब कंप्लीट 100% रिजर्वेशन फॉरएवर आपने कर दी. मैं केवल माननीय मंत्री जी से खुद से भी ये पूछता हूँ, सर, इफ यू वर नॉट द स्पीकर, कुड यू नॉट एज ए जूरिस्ट बी ए सीईसी और ईसी? आई बिलीव एक ऐसा व्यक्ति, और मैं ब्यूरोक्रेसी की कॉम्पिटेंस के बारे में नहीं कह रहा, पर ब्यूरोक्रेट ने तो कभी ना सरपंच का चुनाव लड़ा, ना पंचायत समिति का चुनाव लड़ा, ना जिला परिषद का चुनाव लड़ा, ना एमएलए का चुनाव लड़ा, ना एमपी का चुनाव लड़ा, ना किसी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी का चुनाव लड़ा. तो इलेक्शन की लिस्ट और इलेक्शन की मैनेजमेंट वो करेंगे जिन्होंने कभी जिंदगी में कोई चुनाव नहीं लड़ा. ये 100% आपने उनके लिए रिजर्व कर दी. क्या इस पर आप पुनर्विचार करेंगे? एक शॉर्ट पॉइंट ये था. सर, एक शॉर्ट पॉइंट और मैं आई वांट टू मेक. जो एक सर्च कमेटी है जिसके माननीय मंत्री जी अब अमेंडमेंट भी ले आए हैं क्लॉज 6 में, ये सर्च कमेटी जो है ये बड़ी यूनिक है सर, और हिंदुस्तान में जितने और ऐसे कानून हैं उनके बिल्कुल अलग है. अगर आप इस पे देखें, पहले कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी इसके हेड थे, माननीय मंत्री जी खुद इसके हेड बन गए. So it is now headed by the Law Minister. We have no problems. But the search committee is now actually a steering committee. This steering committee will now eliminate candidates. Say, sir, I also apply as a former secretary, hypothetically I'm saying, or a serving secretary. They can eliminate any number of inconvenient people that they want. They will only select 5 people. For CVC, for CBI directors, it is not so. The search committee puts up all the names. पर यहाँ तो ये स्टीयरिंग कमेटी है और वो एक कहावत है गांव की कि घर की बही काका लिखड़ियाँ, राजस्थान हरियाणा में कहते हैं। तो सर्च कमेटी कानून मंत्री है और इलेक्शन कमेटी प्रधानमंत्री है और उसके नॉमिनी उनके मंत्री हैं, तो घर की बही काका लिखड़ियाँ अपनी मर्जी है जो करेंगे। Sir, it cannot be steering committee that they have to restrict it to 5 people only. Why? Why not place everybody? I don't know why they want to do so. One more thing, sir. Clause 17 of this bill runs contrary to Article 324(3). If you see Article 324(3), the CEC, the Chief Election Commissioner, is the chairperson of the commission. The Constitution framers categorically recognize. So may I just read, it's only 2 lines.
Go ahead.
When any other election commissioner is so appointed, the chief election commissioner shall act as chairman of the election commission. Sir, वो chief justice हों, वो prime minister हों, वो chief election commissioner हों, उन्हें election commission को regulate करना है। पर अब आपने बोल दिया कि कोई निर्णय हो, quasi judicial function हो, administrative function हो, daily functions हो, वो majority से decide होंगे। यानी कल को सभापति जी हाइपोथेटिकली मंत्री जी अगर सीसी हैं और मुझे इनको नेगेट करना है तो मैं 3 और मेंबर्स अपॉइंट कर दूंगा और फिर कहूंगा कि आप दफ्तर में अपनी कुर्सी पर नहीं बैठ सकते, या आप किसी फाइल पर साइन नहीं कर सकते, या आप किसी क्वासी जुडिशियल अथॉरिटी के मेंबर ही नहीं बन सकते जब सिंबल का निर्णय मेरे पास आएगा। आई फाइंड दिस स्ट्रेंज. The procedure and conduct is always done. If I was to say I am going to regulate procedure of this house, you will say no. Even deputy speaker can't do it. I am the chairperson. Deputy chairperson cannot do it. So chairperson inherently has powers to regulate, but this bill does not say so. In the end, sir, I only want to say to the Honorable Minister through your good offices, sir, there is an old saying of law, and I want to reiterate it today. Mantri ji, however high you may be, however powerful your government may be, whatever may be the brute majority you may enjoy, the democracy and the constitution is above you and you cannot subjugate, bulldoze and trample over it. I also want to say, we, whatever may be our numbers as joint opposition of the India Alliance, we are defenders of Constitution of India. We are defenders of people of India. We are champions of the voice of the voiceless. And we will continue to do so. एक समय था सर जब EC, जो ये वर्ड है ना EC, इसका मतलब था इलेक्टोरल क्रेडिबिलिटी. दुर्भाग्य से अब आपने इसको बनाने का निर्णय किया है EC, इलेक्शंस कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड. सर, डोंट डू दैट. आपको इस देश में जेबी चुनाव आयोग नहीं चलेगा. जेबी चुनाव आयोग अगर आप इस कानून के माध्यम से बनाएंगे तो इस संसद, प्रजातंत्र और संविधान तीनों की शुचिता, निर्भीकता, निष्पक्षता और स्वायत्तता, आप उन सब का हनन करेंगे. थैंक यू सर.
30 seconds. Sir, in the course of my colleague's speech, when he referred to the government that prevailed in 1990, you, in good spirit and good wit and good humor, you said that was a government supported by all parties except your party.
Sir, I correct myself.
Yes, sir.
Your
Because
party did not support us.
I want to remind you that your party also became your party 3 years later.
No. I told this House, I have been a member of this party, have good connections there. They need to reciprocate. I have been this side also, and I have been in NCP also. But Jairam Ramesh will not change himself. He knows I made this statement earlier. All I need to indicate to the House that when he said we'll defend, in togetherness, this Parliament is the ultimate defender of Constitution, ultimate architect of Constitution, and if anyone seeks to change the architecture of this Constitution, the Parliament is custodian of it. No incursion whatsoever can emanate from any other source except this Parliament. And that is why we are debating it. What shape the law will take will be determined by Parliament. Executive has come with a bill. That's the ultimate authority. Shri Ghanshyam Tiwari.
माननीय
Tiwari ji,
जी
you have 15 minutes.
साहब एक 21 तो करो
ये तो अपनी पार्टी को कहिए.
माननीय सभापति महोदय, मैं प्रारंभ करूं उसके पहले करना चाहूँगा कि मेरे सामने एक समस्या आ गई. जैसे उन्होंने गांव की 2 कहावतें बताई थी. हमारे यहाँ पे गांव में कहावत है कि बिना पढ़ा हुआ यजमान पढ़ा बराबर और पढ़ा हुआ यजमान खुदा बराबर.
One second. घनश्याम तिवारी जी सही बात नहीं बता रहे हैं. वो रणदीप सिंह सुरजेवाला और मेरा ख्याल रख रहे हैं. कहावत है, अनपढ़ जाट पढ़े बराबर और पढ़ा लिखा जाट खुदा बराबर. ये बात कई सैकड़ों सालों पहले की है तिवारी जी. हालात बदल गए हैं.
ये लागू हो रही है. तो सभापति
प्रोफेसर, दिस इज नोन एज एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ पेंट ऑफ फीलिंग.
ये सभापति महोदय,
तिवारी जी पर इस बात का ध्यान रखिए. ये कहावत बहुत पुरानी है. पानी बहुत बह चुका है. अब आप और हमें कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है.
सभापति महोदय, मैं जब माननीय सुरजेवाला जी बोल रहे थे और उनके मुंह से लोकतंत्र की और चुनाव आयुक्त की नियुक्ति की बात सुन रहा था तो मुझे बड़ा रस आ रहा था, क्योंकि मुझे अच्छी तरह ध्यान है कि एक बार नवीन चावला जो श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी जी के सेक्रेटरी थे उनको ही चुनाव आयुक्त बना दिया था और वो आज ये कह रहे हैं कि सरकार नियुक्त करने जा रही है. तो साहब इतना ये बात कर रहे हैं, फिर वो पार्टी लोकतंत्र की बात करे जो इमरजेंसी लगाई, सारा काम किया. तो मैं वो लोकतंत्र की बात नहीं करूँगा, उन बातों पर मैं नहीं जाऊँगा. मैं इस बिल की ओर जा रहा हूँ और माननीय सभापति महोदय, मैं इस बिल के समर्थन करने के लिए खड़ा हूँ. उन्होंने 2 बातों की चर्चा की. उन्होंने संविधान सभा की चर्चा की, उन्होंने सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के निर्णय की चर्चा की. पहले तो मैं संविधान सभा के बारे में बताना चाहूँगा कि संविधान सभा ने ईसीआई की नियुक्ति व्यवस्था को संसद के विवेक पर छोड़ने पर सहमत हो गए. उन्होंने कहा था कि ये चुनाव का सारा सिस्टम वो कार्यपालिका के हाथ में तो नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन संसद इसके लिए कानून बनाए. अरे संसद के विवेक पर है. इसलिए मैं आपकी उस बात की तायद करता हूं और आपको धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं. आपने जो कहा कि संसद ही सर्वोपरि है, न तो कोई न्यायालय न कोई और, इसलिए सर्वोपरि संसद के रूप में ये कानून लेकर हमारे अर्जुन राम जी मेघवाल लेकर आए. उन्होंने बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर का जिक्र किया. अब वो पुराने वो हमारे पूज्य हैं और फाउंडर मेंबर हैं. और अब उनके बाद में साहब अगर कोई शेड्यूल कास्ट का आदमी कानून मंत्री बना है तो वो अर्जुन राम मेघवाल है. तो साहब अब जब आप उनकी चर्चा करते हो तो अर्जुन राम जी मेघवाल की भी चर्चा करो. तो मैं निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि वर्तमान में जो विधेयक है उसका कारण क्या है. साहब हर बात पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाने का आदत पड़ गई है विपक्ष की. और इसके कारण से जिस सुप्रीम कोर्ट का बार बार निर्णय कर रहे थे, कल उसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने जजमेंट में कहा कि सरकार की हर बात को चुनौती सुप्रीम कोर्ट में देने से अराजकता की स्थिति पैदा हो जाएगी। और ये अराजकता की स्थिति पैदा करने का प्रयत्न वो कर रहे थे। मैं आपसे निवेदन करना चाहूँगा कि जब ये कानून बनाने की आवश्यकता क्यों पड़ी, जब बरनाला अजीत के केस के अंदर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 3 लोगों की समिति बना दी कि भारत का प्रधानमंत्री, प्रतिपक्ष के नेता और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस ये मिलकर तय करेंगे जब तक कानून नहीं बन जाता। तो उस परिप्रेक्ष्य में कानून बनाने के लिए ये कानून लेकर हमारे विधि मंत्री जी आज यहाँ पर आए हैं, इसलिए मैं विधि मंत्री जी का स्वागत करता हूँ। दूसरी बात ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि इस कानून में क्या है, सभापति महोदय, इस कानून में चयन समिति की संरचना की व्यवस्था की गई कि चयन समिति कैसी होगी, उसकी संरचना की व्यवस्था की गई है। चुनाव समिति में, चयन समिति में कौन लोग शामिल होंगे, इस बात की व्याख्या की गई है। अध्यक्ष के रूप में प्रधानमंत्री रहेंगे, सदस्य के रूप में लोकसभा में विपक्ष का नेता होगा, और साहब इसमें और भी इनके लिए बहुत रियायत दी गई है। आगे चलकर इसमें कहा गया है कि विपक्ष के नेता, जितनी विपक्ष का मान्यता प्राप्त दल नेता नहीं हो संख्या, तो उससे भी कम संख्या हो और सबसे बड़ी पार्टी का नेता हो, उसको भी उसमें शामिल कर लिया जाएगा। इतना कंसेशन दे दिया क्योंकि हमें पता है कि परमानेंट रूप से वो कभी भी इस बात पर नहीं आएंगे कि उनको मान्यता प्राप्त विपक्ष की भूमिका रहे। इसलिए सरकार ने सारी देयता से ये प्रावधान कर दिया कि वो संख्या न भी हो तो भी इनका प्रतिनिधि चयन में रहेगा और प्रधानमंत्री द्वारा सदस्य के रूप में नामित एक कैबिनेट मंत्री उसमें शामिल हो। माननीय सभापति महोदय, 70 साल तक जो आदमी इस बात को कभी चयन समिति की बात ही नहीं की, अपनी इच्छा उसको बनाते रहे, वो आज इस प्रकार की बात करें, मैं समझ में नहीं आता। ये चुनाव आयोग क्या है, ये लोगों के ध्यान में कब आया? मैं याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ माननीय सभापति महोदय, जब सबसे पहले TN शेषन भारत के मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त बने थे, तब लोगों को पता लगा कि चुनाव आयोग क्या होता है। वरना तो पहले तो राज्य चुनाव आयोग था। अभी चर्चा कर रही थी कि ये जो सदस्य बनेंगे उनका ये कैडर होगा, ये इनका ये कैडर होगा।
शक्ति सिंह जी सुने 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 आपको एक राय दे रहा हूँ राय दे रहा हूँ। मैं विधानसभा में एक सेकंड, मैं विधानसभा में माननीय घनश्याम तिवारी जी के खिलाफ रहा हूँ। मैं प्रतिपक्ष में था, माननीय घनश्याम तिवारी जी मंत्री भी थे। इनको जितना टोकोगे उतनी ऊर्जा आएगी इनको, ये मत कीजिए, ये मेरी आपको राय है। और नीरज डांगी जी के पिताजी भी हमारे साथ थे। मैं आपको राय दे रहा हूँ घनश्याम जी, अब आपको इंटरप्शन नहीं होगा तो आप समय में अपना बात कह पाएंगे।
डांगी साहब तो मेरे पड़ोस में ही रहते हैं साहब, जयपुर में मेरे पड़ोस में ही रहते हैं डांगी साहब। और मैं निवेदन ये कर रहा था कि ये चर्चा कर रहे थे कि ये जो जिन लोगों का कैडर बनाया है, जो चुनाव आयुक्त बनेंगे या मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त बनेंगे, इनमें से कभी कोई पंचायत का चुनाव लड़ा हुआ आदमी नहीं होगा। ये माननीय सुरजेवाला ने कहा। माननीय सुरजेवाला जी, जिला निर्वाचन अधिकारी डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर होता है, मजिस्ट्रेट होता है, वो कब चुनाव लड़ा हुआ होता है? विधानसभा का चुनाव का अधिकारी SDM होता है, वो चुनाव कब लड़ा हुआ होता है? एक भी आदमी चुनाव लड़ा हुआ नहीं होता, और चुनाव लड़े हुए आदमी को बनाते तो फिर चुनाव आयोग ही नहीं होता। इसलिए सबसे बढ़िया व्यवस्था ये की गई है। आज ये बात आप जब करते हैं उस समय कुछ बात करनी चाहिए थी, वो तो नहीं की। मुख्य बात जो आपको करनी थी वो ये करनी थी कि भारतीय लोकतंत्र में और इसमें समस्या क्या है। इस समय जो सबसे बड़ी समस्या है वो है प्रजातांत्रिक पारिवारिक सामंतवाद। गोस्वामी समिति की सिफारिश करी, उसकी बात करी, उस पर बोल रहे थे। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी समस्या आज भारतीय लोकतंत्र के सामने है पारिवारिक प्रजातांत्रिक सामंतवाद। और वो जो कह रहे थे कि ये ईडी का नाम नहीं लेते, इंडिया जो बोल रहे थे, ये इंडिया इसके खिलाफ खड़ा होगा। ये इंडिया पारिवारिक प्रजातांत्रिक सामंतशाही प्रवृत्तियों का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है। एक भी मैं आज बताना चाहता हूं, यहां पर 7 लोग एक परिवार के मेंबर और मंत्री हैं। वो है प्रजातंत्र लोकतंत्र के लिए खतरा। उस लोकतंत्र की बात नहीं करते। चुनाव आयोग की जो व्यवस्था की गई है सभापति महोदय, ये निष्पक्षता के लिए की गई और केवल सुप्रीम कोर्ट का निर्णय और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्णय के आधार पर नहीं की गई। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का निर्णय डायरेक्शन है, लेकिन एक व्यवस्था करनी थी कि 1991 के कानून में इस प्रकार की कोई व्यवस्था नहीं थी। 324 के अंतर्गत और 191 कानून की व्यवस्था के नहीं होने के कारण से ये एक व्यवस्था की गई। और ये व्यवस्था उन व्यवस्थाओं से बेहतर है जो व्यवस्था आप लोग पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन, यूनियन पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन में जो नियुक्तियां होती है, वो नियुक्तियां कैसे होती है, उनसे बेहतर स्थिति की इसमें व्यवस्था की गई है। अनुसूचित जाति आयोग, उससे बेहतर समिति की व्यवस्था की गई है। राष्ट्रीय पिछड़ा वर्ग आयोग, उससे बढ़िया व्यवस्था की गई है। राष्ट्रीय अनुसूचित जनजाति आयोग, उससे बढ़िया व्यवस्था की गई है। और अन्य निकायों में जो नियुक्तियां होती है, उससे भी बढ़िया और व्यापक व्यवस्था की गई है कि उनमें तो प्रतिपक्ष का नेता होता ही नहीं है। तो वो सारे जब संवैधानिक रूप से ठीक ढंग से काम कर रहे हैं, तो फिर ये नियुक्तियां और ये आयोग ठीक ढंग से काम क्यों नहीं करेगा। माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, मैं निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि भारत की 2 चीजों का अध्ययन करने के लिए दुनिया भर से लोग आते हैं। पहला है भारत का चुनाव। भारत के जैसा चुनाव विश्व के किसी देश में नहीं है, विश्व के किसी देश में नहीं है। आज आचार संहिता लगने से पहले जो चीफ सेक्रेटरी और सेक्रेटरी मुख्यमंत्री और मंत्रियों के साथ थे, जिस दिन आचार संहिता लगती है वे चुनाव आयोग के अधीन हो जाते हैं और चुनाव आयोग का अधीन होकर निष्पक्ष रूप से काम करते हैं। उसी हम का भी चुनाव करते हैं, हमको शपथ भी दिलाते हैं।
माननीय तिवारी जी प्लीज इधर बोलो।
मैं आपसे ही कर रहा हूँ साहब।
जी जी, आपस में बात ना करें।
आपस में नहीं करे साहब
जी।
तो मैं ये बात कर रहा था। दूसरी बात कर रहा था कि जब मैंने कहा था कि TN शेषन साहब से आने से पहले मैं भुक्तभोगी हूँ सर। मैं 1972 से इन चुनावों से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, स्वतंत्र से चुनाव लड़ रहा हूँ, लड़ा रहा हूँ और अब तक यहाँ पर पहुँचा हूँ। मैंने देखा है कि जब चुनाव होते थे तो सरकार की चलती थी, तब चुनाव के पहले दिन तक ट्रांसफर के लेटर कांग्रेस के नेता लेकर आते थे। वोट दो, ये ट्रांसफर का लेटर लो, वोट दो, ये ट्रांसफर का लेटर लो, तब तक काम करते थे। ये तो आचार संहिता क्या होती है तब पता लगा। और जब TN शेषन ने इतना काम किया तो उन्होंने देखा ये तो बहुत खतरनाक काम है, तो उसकी संख्या बढ़ा दी, 2 कर दिए, अब 3 हो गए हैं। तो जजमेंट के आधार पर निर्णय होगा। तो ये चुनाव आयोग की प्रक्रिया को ठीक करने के लिए हम इस प्रकार का काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन चुनाव सुधारों की बहुत बड़ी आवश्यकता है साहब। अभी गोस्वामी समिति की सिफारिश की बात की, प्रकाशवीर समिति की सिफारिश भी आई हुई थी। उन चुनाव सुधारों के बारे में कुछ नहीं किया गया। अगर किया गया है तो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के द्वारा किया गया है। 1951 में उन्होंने कानून बनाया और खुद नियुक्तियां कर देते थे। तो कमेटी भी नहीं थी, तब तो सर्च भी नहीं था, तब तो रिसर्च भी नहीं था। ये बना देते थे, ये कर लेते थे। लेकिन अब जब ये कमेटियां बनने लगी और जब विपक्ष में बैठे और जब इसका थोड़ा टेस्ट आने लगा, तब इनके दिमाग में इस प्रकार की तकलीफ हो गई। इसलिए इस प्रकार का काम ये बार बार करते हैं। अगर आपको चुनाव सुधार करना है तो चुनाव में धन का जो प्रयोग है, उस धन के प्रयोग को कम करना पड़ेगा।
आपको मौका मिलेगा झा जी, प्लीज। अच्छा चलिए।
तो चुनाव सुधार के लिए पैसे का, अब पैसा कहां से आएगा साहब? पैसा आता है चुनाव में ब्लैक मनी का, और ब्लैक मनी जब पकड़ी जाती है तो समस्या होती है। तो कहीं 58 करोड़ पकड़े जाते हैं बंगाल में, तो कभी 350 करोड़ पकड़े जाते हैं। तो ये सारा का सारा पैसा लोकसभा चुनाव के लिए इकट्ठा किया था, लेकिन इस बार चुनाव आयोग ने इन 5 राज्यों के चुनाव में ऐसी व्यवस्था की कि आज तक जितना पैसा नहीं पकड़ा गया उतना करोड़ों रुपए का पैसा इस चुनाव के आचार संहिता के काल में पकड़ा गया। ये इतनी शुद्धता, इतनी शुचिता, इतनी पवित्रता हमने इस चुनाव की कायम की, तो एक तो मैं करना चाहता हूँ। दूसरा, सभापति महोदय, हमारी तरफ से आप बता दें कि पार्टियों के अंदर आंतरिक लोकतंत्र जब तक नहीं होगा, जब तक सुधार लागू नहीं होगा। हमारे यहाँ तो आंतरिक लोकतंत्र है, अटल जी से लेकर, आडवाणी जी से लेकर, मुरली मनोहर से लेकर, वेंकैया जी से लेकर, अमित शाह जी से लेकर, हिंदुस्तान के सारे प्रांतों से लोग आए।
प्लीज आप बैठ जाएं प्लीज। हाँ आप बोले।
और राजनाथ सिंह जी से लेकर सारे प्रांतों के लोग आए, और एक सामान्य कार्यकर्ता भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष पद तक पहुंच गया। लेकिन उधर जो पारिवारिक प्रजातांत्रिक सामंतवादी पार्टियां हैं, उनकी क्या हालत है साहब? कोई बन भी जाए तो चलता उनके कहने से है। तो मैं समझता हूं कि जब तक ये टिकट वितरण की व्यवस्था परिवारवादी को के हाथ में रहेगी, तब तक ये व्यवस्था ठीक नहीं हो सकती। इसलिए चुनाव की व्यवस्था को और ठीक करने के लिए पार्टियों के आंतरिक लोकतंत्र को, मंत्री महोदय, पार्टियों के आंतरिक लोकतंत्र को सुधारने की बात भी होनी चाहिए। मैं माननीय सभापति महोदय के इस मत से पूर्ण सहमत हूं कि कानून बनाने का अधिकार पूर्णतः संसद का है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट कोई कानून बनाने का आदेश नहीं दे सकती, वो निर्देश कर सकती है, और जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने लिखा है वो ही कानून में आए, ये जरूरी नहीं है। कानून को हम लोकतंत्र की भावनाओं के अनुसार और जनोपयोगी बनाने का काम इस संसद को करना है, और वो काम हम कर रहे हैं। इसलिए सभापति महोदय, मैं आपसे एक निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि इस कानून में 4 बातें प्रमुख रूप से हैं। पहला,
आप
प्रक्रिया
पार्टी ने जो समय दिया था वो खत्म हो चुका है। आप बोले अपनी पार्टी का समय लेंगे।
नहीं, मैं समाप्ति कर रहा हूं माननीय सभापति महोदय। तो मैं तो इतना ही निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि वो दल जिन्होंने लोकतंत्र का गला घोटा, वो दल जिन्होंने आपातकाल लगाया, जिन्होंने अपने सचिव को मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त बनाया, उनके मुंह से ये सारी बातें शोभा नहीं देती। भारतीय जनता पार्टी आंतरिक लोकतंत्र की पार्टी है, और देश के लोकतंत्र को भी पवित्र रखने के लिए यह विधेयक लेकर आई है। इसलिए मैं इस विधेयक का पूरा समर्थन करता हूं। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद माननीय श्री घनश्याम तिवारी जी। नाउ ऑनरेबल श्री जवाहर सरकार जी, 18 मिनट्स।
Sir, I thank you for this opportunity. I thank my fellow members for giving me this opportunity. I thank my party, my chairman of my party, the National General Secretary, for giving me this opportunity. This opportunity is not the discussion of one more bill. Please try to understand that today we are dealing rather innocuously on the amendment of a bill which actually seeks to touch, to shake the very foundations of our democracy. Our democracy rests on free and fair elections. And today we are discussing the key, the structure and the mechanics of that election under the guise of a simple law. Now, why do we need to bother about Indian elections? Why do we need? Just a few examples, sir, just a few statistics. We claim to be the mother of democracy. Maybe we can expand on this some other time. But we have the largest electorate in the world, 92 crores at the last count. We have the largest democracy, functioning democracy. We have 4 million EVMs. The management of 4 million EVMs crisscrossing the country calls for supreme efforts. Sir, I have had the honor of conducting the 1998 and 1999 parliament elections as the chief electoral officer. I know the extreme difficulties under which officers function. The same officer, the same personnel who may be slovenly in his daily work rises to new heights. Rises to new heights because a surge of national duty overtakes them. It is time to salute their efforts. It's not a question of whether they went through an election process or not. Sir, for a simple election, for a national election, we have 20 lakh policemen drafted from here and there and posted outside their houses. We have 3 lakh paramilitary. I'm just mentioning the statistics. I had 78,000 polling stations, and I know what it was. We must salute the machinery that was created by the first founder, Sukumar Sen, who was drafted from Chief Secretary West Bengal to become the first election commissioner, and he laid down the path so that India's democracy may continue uninterrupted. Now, having said that, I would recommend to both friends on both sides that they read some of the information with pride, the amount of elections we have gone through, the amount of troubles. I remember, sir, in 1999 elections of Atal Bihari Ji, there were floods in Bengal. And my chief election commissioner asked me, "Tum kar paoge?" I said, "Sir, flood हुए थे ये तो बंगाल में तो होते ही रहते." We held elections on boats. On boats. That's all. People went and voted. We have to go through this. Now, coming to the new bill, and why we stand to oppose. First thing that we need to note in the new bill is the status of the CEC and EC is being deliberately lowered from that of a judge to that of a cabinet secretary. तो इसमें क्या असर है? मैं बता रहा हूं. इसमें क्या है? It is level 17. Now, under the order of preference, a Supreme Court judge is at number 9 of the warrant of precedence. An election commissioner was also there. Now it has been relegated to 9A. Now, ये छोटी-छोटी बात लगती है. But, sir, on it depends the parity, on it depends the level at which one can call the other. If the cabinet secretary is equal to the election commissioner, tomorrow the cabinet secretary will not listen to the election commissioner. He said, "Hum barabar hai." You see, don't put danger through innocuous English words into the act. Who can summon whom? So there is a deliberate demeaning of the position of the chief election commissioner and the election commissioner being done deliberately under guise of a few words. Second thing, appointment really boils down to that of PM and his minister. ये 3-1, 2-1 खेल के क्या फायदा? आप बैठ के फाइल पे ही दे दीजिए ना, जिसको मर्जी. Why are we going through the charade? I would submit, sir, after 71 years of conducting elections, God and Parliament has given us an opportunity to rethink. This is not the time to say that Navin Chawla was this and B was this, or Sunil with Arora was this. This is not the time to discuss. We have had good and bad on both sides, and Mr. Qureshi's book is of immense importance. Now, why I find this bill so dangerous, let me explain. In clause 6, it is given that a search committee will be conducted by the cabinet secretary. Fair enough. A search committee. Theek hai. In all good spirit. And then in clause 7, they say, after the search committee has given names, it will be decided by a selection committee consisting of Prime Minister, his own minister, and the leader of the opposition. The results are known. Why go through this? The Supreme Court's order gave a strong hint that the Chief Justice of India is perhaps willing to join a body and bring in a certain degree of legitimacy, sacrosanctity, and fairness. That order, that innuendo has been refused. Now, it doesn't matter who the leader of the opposition is at that point of time. I would submit we have two leaders of opposition. Dono ko de dijiye na. At least there'll be some amount of intelligent discourse before you can run through. The more dangerous clause, sir, is clause 8. Clause 8 actually says, after all this selection and search committee and all that, says that any person can be appointed as Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner. Now, what a dangerous precedent you are opening. This is a job where I have mentioned some of the dimensions, where I have said we have 10 lakh polling stations. It's an administrative job, and we know what administration is in this. And I've also mentioned the degree of fairness that overcomes. Even Tiwari ji, I think, also mentioned about it. Ki jab wo kartavya aa jate na, tab things become different. We are not clerks and officers at that point of time. Now, having said that, we would insist that you choose the best. Now, there is a subclause here saying that who can be shortlisted? Secretary to the Government of India, somebody who has held the post. I would submit, sir, Secretary to the Government of India is determined by pay scale, seedhi baat. And tomorrow, a chairman of a cooperative society who has been given that scale and who has conducted elections would fit into the bill. Are you going to bring in someone? Do you think that a huge machinery in every village, in every tehsil, in every block, in every subdivision, in every taluk, in every district of India would be able to run the elections? You are leaving gaping holes. You are leaving gaping holes, and I would submit it is being done deliberately. Now, again, I repeat, in clause 10, the downgrading of the rank takes place. This downgrading is not a question of what shoulder ranks we have, and that's for armed forces. This downgrading is on the power to instruct during elections कि आपको ये करना ही है. That power is getting diluted by diluting the rank, and this is extremely dangerous. I would submit, sir, that clause 8 or article 8 is very, very dangerous. I'll read out to you. The selection committee of the Prime Minister may also consider any other person.
Please, let it.
Sir,
He's not yielding.
Modi ji, later, you are eating into my time.
Yes, please. Please.
Okay, so if you have brought in an amendment, we shall take a new look at it. Now, taking it in clause 10, I have mentioned clause 10, and I shall wait for the amendment to see what comes up. Now, coming to the Constitution, this is a thing that reflects on Article 324 of the Constitution, which gives, after all the debate that has been held, the power of conducting the elections upon this election commission. And it also makes a subtle difference. And this is where I plead to my fellow legislators to have a look at this. It makes a difference between the CEC and the EC, where the removal is concerned. In other words, an EC can be removed, election commissioner can be removed practically at will without protection. Now you may say, ये theoretical बात क्यों कर रहे हैं आप? मैं बता रहा हूँ क्यों theoretical बात कर रहा हूँ. This is practical. Do you remember the episode of Ashok Chawla? When Sunil Arora was Chief Election Commissioner and was issuing orders that Ashok Chawla as member refused or had doubts. Sorry, Ashok Lavasa, my mistake. Ashok Lavasa was issuing order that was going in for conscientious objections. We all know about it. The going on within the Election Commission is secret, and that is what it should be. But we know from certain acts that Ashok Lavasa was not on the same page with the CEC at that time, and the CEC at that time has set new standards that Naveen Chawla never raised, could never set. That CEC. We have enough material to talk about it. Now what happened is, the removal here is equated to Supreme Court judge. That is impeachment, which is very difficult. But the ECs remain unprotected. And I thought that this government would have the largeness of heart and the depth of vision to include this protection to them, because an election commission means 3 persons, not only one who is in the better books of the government. When Ashok Lavasa raised these conscientious questions, he was promoted. He was kicked upstairs, if I may use the word. He was just removed. His family was raided. His son was raided. His wife was called in for questions. My humble submission is that if this gentleman had certain, you know what I mean, then why did you make him? Or did you make him after knowing all this and keeping this information in a pocket कि बाद में इस्तेमाल करेंगे आगे कभी गड़बड़ करे? No, this is not playing fair. I now come to the judgment that has also been mentioned in great detail, but this judgment is very, very pointed. It says that it points out to the whatever I mentioned about the election commissioner being at the mercy of the CEC. It refers to various steps taken to amend the present electoral law, and then uses a word. It becomes the Supreme Court. It becomes imperative to shield the election commissioners and to insulate them from executive interference. A word like this being mentioned by the Supreme Court is indication enough that we should be more judicious with the post. We should be more judicious with the post. Now, coming to the 1991 Act that it seeks to replace, the 1991 Act actually gives them that status that this Act is taking away. So in a way, the 1991 Act was good enough. So the 1991 Act was concentrated mainly on salaries. This one does on the demeaning of status. So my humble submission to all the members.
Let him complete.
Take it. Sir, I need those extra seconds, sir. Am I only... Please pause it. Please pause it. Sir, let me carry on.
And if it is
Point of
relevant
order.
or not, you can...
Point of
अगर
order.
आपके पास
Please,
कुछ है पहले
please.
बताना था. Not when I'm debating.
Just
अब मैं
point of
कहूँ,
order.
sir,
Point
do
of order.
not destroy
Mr.
all
Jawahar Sarkar, please
institution.
point of order. Point of order.
Then sir, pause कीजिए.
Rule.
रूल 240 उसवती महोदय, इन्होंने अमेंडमेंट जो सरकार ने मूव किया है, आई थिंक ही हैज नॉट गॉन थ्रू द अमेंडेड पार्ट ऑफ द बिल. अदरवाइज यू आर सेइंग द ओल्ड थिंग. वो उसी पुरानी बात को रिपीट कर रहे हैं और जो अमेंडमेंट मूव हुआ है उसको उन्होंने पढ़ा ही नहीं है. अगर उसको पढ़ लेते तो उनको बोलने की आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ती. सती मैं ये करो कि जो सरकार ने अमेंडमेंट मूव किया है उसको उन्होंने पढ़ा ही नहीं और पुरानी बात को बोल रहे हो.
Please.
Sir, let me continue.
A point of disruption.
Please. हाँ सुखेंदु सेगरा जी.
has referred to Rule 240 while seeking the point of order.
240.
What does it say?
240.
240. Yes, he mentioned about 240. He mentioned 240. What does it say? I quote, "The chairman, after having called the attention of the council to the conduct of a member who persists in irrelevance or in tedious repetition either of his own arguments or of the arguments used by other members in debate, may direct him to discontinue his speech." How come? How come this rule as a point of order to stop my member from delivering speech?
Please.
And the Parliamentary Affairs Minister was supporting.
माननीय सदस्यगण, I had to listen what he has
Sir,
to
with
say.
your-
कि the government has already brought amendment. Please.
Sir, sir, वो,
बैठिए, please.
sir, may I continue?
Yes, please.
वो थोड़ा बहुत timing भी देखिए.
Please.
अच्छा, now, my submission was the honorable member had mentioned, Mr. Tiwari had mentioned about Naveen Chawla, the secretary of a very powerful person being made the CEC. I refer to the secretary of the current Prime Minister being made to hold the most neutral post in the Constitution of India after the Election Commission, and that is the CAG. Do not destroy every institution. The man who was his right-hand man is today as CAG, and we don't get any reports. Thoda bahut bhi do char report aa gaye, ab band kiya gaya. Now,
Come on the
not
subject,
only this,
please.
when I talk of the destruction of institutions, I go before him when we had, what shall I say, a hero CAG, none of whose presumptive losses could be proved. We have had a hero who got 2 to 3 crores from the PCCI because of whatever.
Please
He was
speak on the
followed-
subject.
Sir, I am
Yes.
talking the destruction of institution.
Yes.
He was followed by a CAG who was charge-sheeted by CAG who was brought into a CBI charge sheet.
Mr.
A
Jawahar
CAG
Sarkar
being
ji, we are not discussing
Sir, the
CAG.
destruction of
Please.
institutions, look at the way they
We
are
are not
destroying
discussing
institutions.
CAG, please.
I look
You are a
upon the
senior member.
UPSC.
Please.
Sir, mujhe kehne dijiye. I talk about the destruction or the demeaning of the UPSC, where you have got a month today.
Please come on the subject.
Sir,
It's
it is on the
election-
subject, the wider
Commission.
scope.
Please,
the ED,
confine yourself to
the misuse
election
of
commission,
ED
please.
and the CBI for absolutely.
Please.
Okay, sir. I will now come to the last point in this regard, where I would say that the Act had spoken about a fixed tenure. This one also speaks about a fixed tenure, but brings it back at 65. Sir, when I mentioned about the destruction of institutions, all I meant is that among the three constitutional institutions, the UPSC, the CAG, and the Election Commission, they are suffering through the same fate. I just wanted to draw the attention of the ministry and provide empirical proof to prove that they are being hollowed out. Do not touch the Election Commission, sir. Wo CAG on a skate we can tolerate. But the Election Commission will determine the fate of democracy that is coming up. We are all going to be part of its thinking process. There's a leadership that is called for, a huge number of members from the officers and staff of government and para-government officers come up. And when they see somebody they can't respect, sir, I've been there again and again. अगर इज्जत न दे पाए, कुछ ना बनेगी. आप जिसको मर्जी अपॉइंट कीजिए. Sir, this will lead to what we call legalization of rigging. Legalization of rigging. We have already found the corrosion, the erosion of the office where EVM is suspect. VVPATs are not stamped. VVPAT are shown to you for a few jhaki darshan and then it goes into the pot. It does not validate my vote. Where you see electoral bonds take over. So there have been many things in the function of the Election Commission that would warrant a fuller discussion. But today we concentrate only on the appointment and the consequential disappointment that this side of the House has to the process by which the entire foundation of fairness are sought to be shaken. Sir, I would still submit that with all these operational faults, the Election Commission is still managing. I would submit that please let it function. Please let the army of election personnel function. Let them not feel that they are led by an obviously political boss for obvious reasons. Do not destroy the institution and withdraw those sections that militate against fairness, that actually embed unfairness into the system. Do not legalize rigging.
Thank you. Mani Tiruchi Siva, 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir. Sir, I stand to oppose this bill, for it is undemocratic, unethical.
Please, Sivaji.
Mic is not working.
Its mic is functioning. You see, please, your mic. It's already functioning.
Sir, I stand to oppose this bill.
Please, speak. Tiruchi ji, please speak.
For it is undemocratic, unethical, unjustifiable, unacceptable, and Shall is obstructing. I don't know.
You please speak. You are losing your time.
For it, sir, undermines the very purpose, sir. Sir, any nation will have a head, even it may be ruled by a dictator. But only in a democracy, the people decide who will be the ruler to administer the country. And the unique and supreme indicator or identity of a democratic country is fair and free elections. And for the undercurrent of it is the ballot. Sir, ballot is not a fickle choice. It is the soul of the country. It brings poor and the rich equal. The educated and the uneducated, everyone are equal before when they stand in the polling booth. Moreover, sir, we, the Indians, gained it after 200 years of subjugation. It keeps the hope alive in hearts of 140 crore of people. It is a decision, it is a lifeline, and of course, it is a responsibility of the people. Sir, why I am telling much about the ballot paper? It's a hope for a better future, better life, and better India. And the Election Commission is the entity which takes care of the elections, which gives power to the people of this country. And this bill, the Chief Election Commissioner and other Election Commissioners' appointment, conditions of service, and term of office, geopolitize this sacred principle of the ballot and values that are part of the constitutional basic structure, such as the rule of law, the right to equality and fair election. It's yet another nail in the coffin for the EC's autonomy by paving the path for appointment of a yes man as a Chief Election Commissioner to decide the fate of our electoral democracy. Sir, the objections reasons very clearly say the Honorable Supreme Court in writ petition civil number 104 of 2015, Anup Banerwal versus Union of India, declared that the appointment of CEC and EC shall be made by the President on the basis of advice tendered by a committee consisting of the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and in case there is no such leader, the leader of the largest party in the opposition in Lok Sabha, having the largest numerical strength, and the Chief Justice of India. This is very important, sir. It has been clarified that in the aforesaid judgment that the said norm provided by Supreme Court will continue to hold till a law is made by the Parliament. Now, an attempt is made here. We have brought a bill to enact a law. But that bill does not serve the purpose what the Supreme Court has directed. Supreme Court has said there must be a committee comprising of the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. Whereas this bill provides a search committee and a select committee. And the search committee consists of only bureaucrats. The secretary in the government, who may be in office, they will comprise the search committee and they will give a panel of members. And the select committee, the bill provides the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition, or the leader who is the major party in the opposition side, if at all there is no leader of opposition, and a union minister appointed by the Prime Minister. Then everything is over. And further it says that to select an election commissioner or the CEC, there need not be a unanimous decision. A majority will be enough. Means very clear. Why this bill? You can very well, jolly well say that whatever the government wishes can be done. Sir, Madam, I would like to say one thing. This government has brought all the bills and legislative laws which I have repeatedly said that don't forget, one day or other you will be in the opposition and you will face the wrath of all the legislation you have done. They think that they will be forever in the ruling party and the treasury benches. So the Prime Minister and the Union Minister appointed by him along with the leader of opposition, what will be the decision? What the Prime Minister and the Union Minister will decide. So their choice will be there. And otherwise, one more thing, other than the members suggested by the search committee. The select committee can appoint anyone else. Then what is the use of the search committee? See, there is a search committee consisting of only bureaucrats, and the select committee has a majority of the government, that is the Prime Minister and the Union Minister. And moreover, the search committee's recommendations will be thrown off, and they will appoint any other person whom they wish. All are really a farce. So what is the purpose of a bill which is going to become a law? The Chief Justice of India, why not he be a member, is a very big question, and why you are bypassing it, only you have to say. What is wrong, or what prevents you or objects you by having the Chief Justice of India as a member of the Select Committee? So, I would like to quote Dr. Ambedkar, very, very pertinent. Everyone has to repeat it, no wonder, because he is the architect of our Constitution. The episode reminds us, on June 16th, 1949, during the debates in the Constituent Assembly on the draft Article 289, now Article 324 of the Constitution, dealing with the Election Commission, he precisely said, I quote Dr. Ambedkar, quote, there is no provision in the Constitution to prevent the appointing of either a fool or a knave or a person who is likely to be under the thumb of the executive. Said by none other than Dr. Ambedkar. A day earlier, unquote, a day earlier on June 15, 1949, while moving the draft Article 289 in the Constituent Assembly for setting up an election commission, Ambedkar had observed, quote, without any kind of dissent, that in the interest of the purity and freedom of elections to the legislative bodies, it was of utmost importance that they should be freed from any kind of interference from the executive of the day. But now the executive is having the entire control. The Select Committee can ignore those members, Mike, can ignore the recommendation of the search committee and it can, excuse me, I can just, I don't know, in the winter we cannot wear the shawl because of the mic. This has to be taken note of by the Parliament Office Minister. Article 324 of the Constitution provides that the power of superintendence, direction and control of elections to Parliament, state legislatures, the office of the President of India and the office of Vice President of India shall be vested in the Election Commission. So, Election Commission is not just another entity in the country. This is the foremost. That's why it is chosen to be autonomous, without the intrusion of the government or any other forces from outside. Thambi. So, we expect a lot.
Thambi.
Make a pardon? Yes, Solunka. Yes, ma'am. I think I have time.
Just 5 minutes more.
I have 5 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I have given the remaining time only.
If I can,
the contravention of the Supreme Court judgment in this bill, in the absence of a parliamentary legislation guiding the selection of ECI members, the 5 judgment I told earlier, the Supreme Court laid down interim guidelines. The case challenged the constitutional validity. And now that the recommendations have totally been overlooked by this government through this bill. In 1990, the Dinesh Goswami Committee had made suggestions to ensure independence of the ECI. Number 1, the removal process of CEC and administrative independence of the ECI. So also, it has been repeatedly, even in the Supreme Court in 1995, ECs are considered to be at par with the CEC in hierarchy. But now what is happening, the CEC can remove the EC, whereas the CEC can be removed only by an impeachment. Along with all other things, the CEC was earlier on par with the Supreme Court judge. By way of this bill, he has been reduced to on par with Cabinet Secretary.
So they brought amendment.
Okay. Election Commission is a quasi-judicial body. It has a very big authority. So that's a very big question. An amendment has been moved. I think if it is taken up, it will be very well appreciated. So also the global practices can also be adhered. UK has a panel of members of parliament headed by the speaker, not from one party only, invariably from all the other parties. So also South Africa has got a new, another one. So we can follow those things even in America, but whereas this has been done. And I would like to conclude with only one word, ma'am. According to the Mr. S.K. Qureshi, the former CEC, to tackle the major downside of the proposed bill, which is the lopsided selection committee, was to make all its decisions unanimous. That will resolve. But now it says that the majority of the select committee means it's very, very clear. Only the Prime Minister and the Union Minister who is that will be taking the decision. So forming that select committee becomes meaningless, and the search committee's recommendations, if it is ignored, that becomes redundant. So this bill, when it becomes a law, paves way for constituting a search committee and a select committee. Search committee's recommendations become nothing, and the select committee's decision will be unilateral. So the purpose is not solved. So I would suggest to the government, I would urge, what this bill you have brought does not serve the purpose. Better send it to a select committee for a better scrutiny. Stakeholders will come and bring it back with suitable amendments and make it democratic, make it ethical, make it justifiable, and that the selection of the CEC and the election commissioners are transparent and appreciable. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chadha. Mr. Chadha.
क्या बीजेपी भारत देश में निष्पक्ष चुनाव खत्म करना चाहती है? क्या भाजपा की सरकार लोकतंत्र की कोई अहमियत नहीं समझती? क्या भाजपा की सरकार के लिए संवैधानिक संस्थाओं की कोई अहमियत नहीं है? क्या भाजपा सरकार हर संवैधानिक संस्था को अपनी कठपुतली बनाना चाहती है? क्या भाजपा सरकार सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले की कोई सम्मान नहीं करती, उसकी कोई अहमियत नहीं समझती? ये कुछ सवाल हैं जो बिल पढ़ने के बाद मेरे जहन में आए, और वो इसलिए आए क्योंकि इस बिल के माध्यम से ये सरकार चुनाव आयोग को पूरी तरीके से अपने नियंत्रण में लेना चाहती है, यानी कि चुनाव आयोग पे पूर्ण कब्जा चाहती है। मैम, चुनाव आयोग के 3 सदस्य होते हैं, एक मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त यानी कि चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और 2 अतिरिक्त इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स। इनकी चयन और नियुक्ति इस बिल के माध्यम से पूरी तरीके से सरकार के हाथों में आ जाएगी, और वे जिसको चाहें, चाहे वो पार्टी का शख्स हो, यस मैन हो, पार्टी मैन हो, जिस मर्जी को चाहें वे चुनाव आयुक्त बना सकते हैं। चुनाव आयोग की हमारे देश के चुनावों में बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका है। किसका वोट बनेगा, किसका वोट कटेगा, ये चुनाव आयोग तय करता है। किस तारीख पर चुनाव होगा, कितने चरण में चुनाव होगा, ये चुनाव आयोग तय करता है। ईवीएम मशीन कहां कहां भेजी जाएंगी, उसका नियंत्रण, उसका मैनेजमेंट, उसका योग, उसका प्रयोग, सारी चीजें चुनाव आयोग तय करता है। तो इसीलिए चुनाव आयोग एक बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण संस्था है इस देश के फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस के लिए। Ma'am, I will mince no words. This bill is going to destroy one of the few remaining independent institutions in India, that is the Election Commission, and thereby dislodge free and fair elections from India. ये बिल 3 व्यक्ति या संस्था का अपमान है। पहला अपमान है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का। क्यों? क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इसी साल मार्च 2 को 2 मार्च 2023 को 5 जजों की संवैधानिक पीठ ने सर्वसम्मति से एक फैसला दिया, और वो फैसला ये था कि सरकारी हस्तक्षेप, सरकार का कोई भी दखल चुनाव आयोग की नियुक्ति में नहीं होना चाहिए। ये खत्म करने के लिए हम एक समिति का गठन करते हैं। उस समिति के गठन से मुख्य न्यायाधीश को हटाकर एक कैबिनेट मंत्री को डालकर उसका संतुलन बिगाड़ने का काम और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले को पलटने का काम इस सरकार ने किया, ताकि एक ऐसी व्यवस्था बन जाए जिसमें जो शख्स ये चाहे वही चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बनेगा। ये इंसल्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट की इसलिए है क्योंकि इसी साल के दिए गए संवैधानिक पीठ के सर्वसम्मति के 2 फैसलों को इस सरकार ने सदन के भीतर बिल लाकर बदल दिया। पहला था दिल्ली सेवा बिल, जो 8 दिन के भीतर ऑर्डिनेंस लाकर और फिर सदन के भीतर बिल लाकर बदला गया, और एक ये बिल जो 2 मार्च 2023 के सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले को पलटता है और उस फैसले को पूरी तरीके से रिवर्स करने का काम करता है। मैं आपको यह बताना चाहूंगा कि यह सरकार इस बिल के माध्यम से एक प्रकार से सुप्रीम कोर्ट को खुली चुनौती दे रही है कि आपको जो फैसला देना है दीजिए, अगर हमें पसंद नहीं आएगा हम बिल लाकर उस फैसले को पलट देंगे। दूसरा इंसल्ट या अपमान इस बिल के माध्यम से चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया का है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला कहता है कि चयन समिति के 3 सदस्य होंगे, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, माननीय नेता प्रतिपक्ष यानी कि लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन और थर्ड चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया। इन 3 मेंबरी समिति में से इस बिल के माध्यम से सरकार ने चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को हटा दिया और एक कैबिनेट मंत्री को उनकी जगह बिठा दिया। चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया से इतना परहेज कि साफ तौर पे उन्हें इस समिति से हटाने के लिए इस बिल को लाया गया। मैं सरकार को याद कराना चाहूंगा कि समय समय पर इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स के लिए इस देश में कमेटियां बनी और अधिकांश कमेटियों ने यह फैसला दिया, यह रिपोर्ट दी, यह सजेशन दिया कि समिति के भीतर चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया यानी कि इस देश की न्यायमूर्ति को जरूर होना चाहिए, चाहे वो तारकुंडे कमेटी हो, दिनेश गोस्वामी कमेटी हो, वोरा कमेटी हो, इंद्रजीत गुप्ता कमेटी हो, जीवन रेड्डी कमेटी हो या फिर इसी सरकार की लॉ कमीशन की रिपोर्ट हो। तीसरी इंसल्ट इस बिल के माध्यम से भाजपा सरकार एक ऐसे शख्स की कर रही है जो व्यक्ति भाजपा का संस्थापक थे, जो व्यक्ति आज भी भाजपा के मार्गदर्शक हैं, जो व्यक्ति भाजपा के भीष्म पितामह के नाम से जाने जाते हैं, वो व्यक्ति जो भारत देश के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री रहे यानी कि लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी, पूर्व उप प्रधानमंत्री रहे। मैम 2 जून 2012 को, और मैं राज्यसभा के पटल पे इस लेटर को रखूंगा, 2 जून 2012 को माननीय लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी ने उस समय के प्रधानमंत्री डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह को पत्र लिखकर कहा कि चुनाव आयोग की जो भूमिका है चुनावों में बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण है, उसकी नियुक्ति पर एक बहुत बड़ा संदेह, प्रश्न चिन्ह लगा हुआ है और उसकी नियुक्ति सरकार के हाथ में नहीं होनी चाहिए। और वो लिखते हैं, द प्रेजेंट सिस्टम whereby members to the election commission are appointed solely on the advice of the prime minister does not evoke confidence in the people. Keeping these important decisions as the exclusive preserve of the ruling party renders the entire selection process vulnerable and open to manipulation and partisanship. और वो कहते हैं कि समिति 5 सदस्यों की हो जो सीईसी की चयन करे, उनकी नियुक्ति करे, जिसमें प्रधानमंत्री हो, जिसमें लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन लोकसभा हो, जिसमें लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन राज्यसभा हो, जिसमें चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया हो और कानून मंत्री हो, यानी कि 2 सदस्य सरकार के, 2 सदस्य ऑपोजिशन के और 1 न्यायपालिका के। ये समिति बड़ी अच्छी है। यानी कि आडवाणी जी भी चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की स्वतंत्रता के लिए, चुनाव आयोग की स्वतंत्रता के लिए लड़ते रहे, लेकिन इन लोगों ने आडवाणी जी को भी उनके हक की, उनके अधिकार की बात नहीं दी। आज मैं सदन में दूसरी बार लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी के हक की, उनके अधिकार की बात मांगने के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूं। पहला जब उन्होंने दिल्ली सेवा बिल पर कहा था दिल्ली को पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा दिया जाए, और आज जब उन्होंने कहा कि चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की नियुक्ति स्वतंत्रता से हो, निष्पक्ष तरीके से हो। आगे मैं 3 महत्वपूर्ण कारण बताना चाहूंगा मैडम, जिसके चलते ये बिल को आज मैं और मुझे लगता है समस्त विपक्ष अपोज करता है। पहला कि ये बिल पूरी तरीके से इलीगल है, गैर कानूनी है, और वो इसलिए है क्योंकि यू कैन नॉट रिवर्स अ सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट विदाउट चेंजिंग द वेरी बेसिस ऑफ इट। यानी कि अगर आपको सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले को पलटना है तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जिस फैसले को देते हुए जिस आधार को रेफर करता है, आपको उस आधार को बदलना पड़ेगा। आप सीधा फैसला नहीं पलट सकते। लेकिन इन लोगों ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले की मूलभूत भावना को इस बिल के माध्यम से चोट पहुंचाने की कोशिश करी है और निष्पक्षता को चुनाव आयोग की भंग किया है। दूसरी कारण क्यों ये बिल गैर कानूनी, इसलिए क्योंकि ये बिल बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ मेरा माइक चला गया, क्योंकि ये बिल बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के खिलाफ है। बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस, बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है निष्पक्ष चुनाव और डेमोक्रेसी। अगर बायस्ड इलेक्शन कमीशन होगा तो चुनाव भी बायस्ड होगा। अगर गैर निष्पक्ष तरीके से चुनाव आयोग चुना जाएगा तो हिंदुस्तान में चुनाव भी गैर निष्पक्ष तरीके से होंगे। इसीलिए यह बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को भी पूरी तरीके से वायलेट करता है। मैम मैं आगे बताना चाहूंगा कि दूसरा महत्वपूर्ण कारण क्यों यह बिल एक प्रकार से सरकार के हाथ में चुनाव आयोग का पूरा नियंत्रण दे देता है। व्हाई इज द सिलेक्शन कमिटी बायस्ड इन द फेवर ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट? सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा 3 मेंबरी समिति होगी जो तय करेगी कि चुनाव आयोग में कौन कौन बैठेगा, प्रधानमंत्री, लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन और चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया। इसमें से चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को निकाल बाहर कर एक कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर को इसमें डालकर पूरा नियंत्रण सिलेक्शन समिति का इन लोगों ने बिगाड़ दिया, जिसके चलते आज इस समिति में सरकार के पास 2 वोट हैं। 2:1 से सारे फैसले मेजॉरिटी से सरकार ले सकती है। इसमें सर्वसम्मति से फैसला नहीं लेना, यूनानिमिटी से फैसला नहीं लेना, सरकार चाहे तो 2:1 से कोई भी फैसला ले सकती है, यानी कि सारा नियंत्रण कौन मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त होंगे, कौन चुनाव आयुक्त होंगे, ये सरकार के हाथ में आ जाता है। और ये एक ऐसी व्यवस्था बनाता है कि एक पार्टी मैन, एक यस मैन चुनाव आयुक्त बन सकता है। वो दिन भी दूर नहीं कि चाहे भाजपा अगर कल तो संबित पात्रा को चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बना सकती है मैडम, और 2:1 के रेशियो से संबित पात्रा देश के चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बन सकते हैं। आप सोचिए कि ये कितना खतरनाक होगा अगर वो चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बन गए। मैं आगे चलता हूं। पैरा 9 इस सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट का कहता है, द एग्जीक्यूटिव अलोन बीइंग इन्वॉल्व्ड इन द अपॉइंटमेंट एंश्योर्स दैट द कमीशन becomes and remains a partisan body and the branch of the executive. The independence of the commission is intimately interlinked with the process of appointment. यानी कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ये कहता है कि चयन का जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो पूरी तरीके से इलेक्शंस कैसे होंगे, फ्री होंगे कि फेयर होंगे, वो तय करता है। मैं आगे चलता हूं, 14 मिनट है मैडम, अभी तो 6 मिनट बाकी हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट आगे अपने पैरा 186 में हाईलाइट करते हुए कहता है, अ पर्सन who is weak kneed before the powers that be cannot be appointed as the election commissioner. A person who is in a state of obligation or feels indebted to the person who has appointed him fails the nation and can have no place in the conduct of elections, forming the very foundation of our democracy. An independent person cannot be biased. It is important that the appointment must be overshadowed even by a perception that a yes man will decide the fate of the democracy and all its promises. यानी कि केवल निष्पक्ष चयन ही होना जरूरी नहीं है, निष्पक्ष चयन जनता को नजर आना भी जरूरी है। इट मस्ट नॉट ओनली बी डन, इट मस्ट बी सीन टू बी डन। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट बात कहता है। मैं आगे चलता हूं। तीसरा कारण कि क्यों हम इस बिल को अपोज कर रहे हैं वो है कि ये जो प्रपोज्ड सिलेक्शन कमिटी है इसमें कोई चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस नहीं है। चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि सारे फैसले तो सरकार के पक्ष में होंगे, 2 मंत्री सरकार के उसमें बैठे हैं, एलओपी को मात्र फॉर्मेलिटी के लिए इसमें बिठाया गया है, तो एक प्रकार का फिक्स्ड मैच इसमें नजर आता है। अब आप ही सोचिए, 3 मेंबरी समिति है जिसमें माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं, मान लेते हैं हमारे सदन के लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी उसके सदस्य हैं, और 3rd मेंबर अर्जुन मेघवाल जी कानून मंत्री यहां बैठे हैं वो हैं। अब इनकी बैठक चल रही है, इसमें माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं कि मैं रमेश नाम के शख्स को चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बनाना चाहता हूं। खड़गे साहब कहते हैं कि मैं रमेश को नहीं सुरेश को चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बनाना चाहता हूं। क्या अर्जुन मेघवाल जी जो इसी सरकार के कानून मंत्री हैं वो प्रधानमंत्री जी को ये कह सकते हैं कि नहीं प्रधानमंत्री जी रमेश ठीक नहीं है, खड़गे साहब ने जिसको नॉमिनेट किया है सुरेश, मैं भी उसी के हक में वोट देता हूं, उसका चयन हो, वो चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बने? ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता। तो जो सरकार चाहेगी वही होगा। तो एक प्रकार से निष्पक्षता और स्वतंत्रता चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की खत्म करने का काम ये करती है। हमने बचपन में एक मुहावरा सुना था, जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस। तो ये पूरी तरीके से इस बिल में सिद्ध होता है कि लाठी भी इनकी, तो फिर इस कानून के माध्यम से भैंस भी इनकी। मैं आपको एक और उदाहरण के माध्यम से समझाता हूं। मान लीजिए भारत और ऑस्ट्रेलिया का क्रिकेट मैच हो रहा है। उस क्रिकेट मैच में अंपायर कौन होगा वो एक 3 मेंबर की समिति तय करेगी जो मैच कराएगी। वो 3 मेंबर की समिति में एक ऑस्ट्रेलिया के कैप्टन पैट कमिंग्स होंगे, दूसरे ऑस्ट्रेलिया के प्रसिद्ध प्लेयर डेविड वार्नर होंगे, और 3rd भारत के कप्तान रोहित शर्मा होंगे। अब ये 3 मेंबरी समिति अगर किसी अंपायर को चुनेगी तो वो अंपायर तो हमेशा ही ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ होगा क्योंकि 2-1 की बहुमत ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ है। तो क्या निष्पक्ष मैच हो सकता है? क्या इंडिया इंडिपेंडेंट मैच खेल सकती है? ऐसा ही कुछ इस चुनाव आयोग के गठन से, इस बिल के आने के बाद इस देश में होने जा रहा है। मैं आगे चलता हूं मैडम, मुझे बोलने दीजिए। इसका माध्यम, मैडम मुझे बोलने दीजिए, मुझे डिस्टर्ब ना करें। ये बिल 3 की टेस्ट पे फेल होता है, द टेस्ट ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस, द टेस्ट ऑफ न्यूट्रलिटी एंड द टेस्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनैलिटी। ये हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल इंपेरेटिव है कि देश में चुनाव आयोग निष्पक्ष हो, ताकि चुनाव निष्पक्ष हो। अगर चुनाव आयोग निष्पक्ष नहीं होगा तो चुनाव निष्पक्ष नहीं होंगे और लोगों की आस्था इस लोकतंत्र से डगमगा जाएगी। मैं सरकार को कहना चाहता हूं, अगर सरकार सुप्रीम कोर्ट के इस फैसले को पलटना चाहती है, अगर सरकार चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को इस समिति से हटाने के लिए इतनी बेकरार है, तो मैं आज सुझाव लाया हूं कानून मंत्री जी। 3 सुझाव मेरे, इनमें से अगर आप कोई सुझाव स्वीकार कर लें तो मुझे लगता है सारा हाउस एक आवाज में आपके इस बिल का समर्थन करेगा। पहला सुझाव यह है, ये 3 ऑप्शन लाया हूं आपके लिए। पहला ऑप्शन यह है कि चुनाव आयोग का गठन, कौन चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर होगा और कौन इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स होंगे, इसका गठन 2 मेंबरी समिति करे जिसमें 2 लोग हों, प्रधानमंत्री और लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन, ये विपक्ष के नेता। ये 2 मेंबर्स सर्वसम्मति से फैसला ले, यूनानिमिटी से। क्योंकि 2 लोगों में मेजॉरिटी तो हो नहीं सकती, तो 2 लोग सर्वसम्मति से फैसला ले, जो भी नाम तय करेंगे हम सब मान जाएंगे। ये ऑप्शन 1। ऑप्शन 2 मैं देना चाहूंगा सरकार को, जो लालकृष्ण आडवाणी जी ने दिया था। लालकृष्ण आडवाणी जी की बात मान लीजिए, मेरी मत मानिए, आपको आम आदमी पार्टी तो पसंद नहीं, पर अपने पेट्रियार्क फाउंडिंग फादर, आपके पितामह भीष्म लालकृष्ण आडवाणी जी का फॉर्मूला ले लीजिए। 5 मेंबरी समिति, प्रधानमंत्री, कानून मंत्री, लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन इन लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा और चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, ये 5 मेंबरी समिति एक निष्पक्ष चुनाव आयोग का चयन कर लेगी। और तीसरा ऑप्शन, अगर ये दोनों ऑप्शन आपको पसंद नहीं, तो मैं आपको वो ऑप्शन बताना चाहूंगा जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में प्रोफेसर शिबन लाल सक्सेना ने दिया था। वो था कि जो भी नाम ये चयन समिति तय करे, वो नाम सदन के भीतर लाए जाएं और 2/3 बहुमत लोकसभा और राज्यसभा से नाम पास हो जाए, वो आदमी चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर बन जाए। मैं सकारात्मक बहस कर रहा हूं, मैं ऑप्शन लाया हूं। ये इन 3 ऑप्शंस में से कोई भी ऑप्शन चुन लीजिए, सारे विपक्ष को मनाने की, एकजुट करने की जिम्मेदारी मेरी। मैं अंत में अपनी बात समाप्त करने से इतना बस कहना चाहूंगा मैडम, कि ये बिल एक डे लाइट रॉबरी है हमारे देश की डेमोक्रेसी की, लोकतंत्र की। इस बिल के माध्यम से भाजपा डेमोक्रेसी को हाईजैक करना चाहती है। एंड आई ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द आम आदमी पार्टी oppose this bill, vehemently oppose this bill, because this bill will ensure that India, which is today known as the mother of democracy, will tomorrow unfortunately be known as for mockery of democracy. Mother of democracy से mockery of democracy तक का सफर आप इस बिल के माध्यम से तय करने जा रहे हैं। मैं हाथ जोड़कर आपसे विनती करूंगा, इस बिल को वापस लीजिए। लोगों की देश के लोकतंत्र में बहुत आस्था है, उस आस्था से खिलवाड़ करने का काम मत कीजिए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairperson, ma'am. Ma'am, I'll start with the statement of objects and reasons which is mentioned in the bill, and that would probably settle a lot of the apprehensions that have been expressed by members on my right. The Honorable Supreme Court in writ petition number 104 of 2015, Anup Barnawal versus Union of India, declared that the appointment of CEC and EC shall be made by the President, so and so. Everyone has talked about it. But it has clarified in the judgment very clearly, I want to reiterate, and which the Honorable Minister also mentioned it while introducing the bill, that this particular composition of the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition and the Chief Justice of India shall continue until and unless a law is made by Parliament. And unfortunately, a law was not made in Parliament. If you know that I belong to an organization which is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. I used to belong to that organization, which had a law in place, duties and powers and conditions of service of the CAG of India, 1971. So I must congratulate the government that at least a law has been made, and that law is succinctly, and in law it has now been mentioned what will be the appointment, what will be the conditions of service, and what will be the salary of the Chief Election Commissioner and the election commissioners. That having said that, I will come to the second point, and that is relating, a lot of mention has been made about, the independence. There are basically four issues: independence, interference, democracy being trampled upon. Basically, these three arguments were made. Ma'am, the point is, there is something called a doctrine, which is a doctrine of fallacy of causation. That if this happens, this will happen. If this happens, that will happen. And this false causality is the main issue out here. The bill talks about the appointments, conditions of service, as I mentioned. Whereas the transaction of business in the Election Commission has been mentioned at Section 16, Chapter 4, Transaction of Business of Election Commission. The transaction of business of an election commission is to conduct elections. The appointment process is a completely separate issue altogether. People who have, after being appointed only, they will conduct the election, and 17.1 says that the allocation of work will be done by majority. 17.2 says how the business a decision will be done by majority, the other one was unanimity. Some people say that everything should be unanimous. If that is so, will the Election Commission not function if there is no unanimous decision during an election process? I think that has to be thought about. There is this situation which says that you completely jeopardize the system just because there is no unanimity among the 3 members or 4 members or 5 members. So I think it is absolutely an unacceptable proposition which has been put forward by some of my colleagues. I'll come to the point relating to, ma'am, the issue that the process outlined in the bill would inevitably lead to a loss of independence for the Election Commission is a fallacy. If such an assertion is held true, it would raise doubts about the efficacy of all election commissioners over the past 76 years, given the appointment of ECs has been within the purview of the executive. Despite this, they have consistently operated independently. Ma'am, the Election Commission has overseen completion of 17 national and 317 state elections since independence in 1947. Even under pressure from the executive branch and governing parties to bow to the demands fed by their desire for electoral success, the ECI has managed to strengthen its autonomy from year to year, election to election. Let us not forget 1977, the post-emergency elections in 1977, the opposition was apprehensive about the election process itself. Let me quote, Charan Singh wrote to Jai Prakash Narayan, both opposition stalwarts in January 1977. Mrs. Gandhi is thinking of staging an election. I call it staging because conditions for a real election, free and fair, will be lacking. Raghavan 2017, I can lay it on the table of the House. As it turned out, Congress was voted out of national office for the first time during these elections. And this was in 1977, when there was a single chief election commissioner. The elaborate process was not there. Now, when a process is being brought in now through a regular act of parliament, I think it is laudable, extremely praiseworthy to the government that such a particular process is being brought in. Now, I'll come to the second point, ma'am, relating to a judge being a part of the process. Now, if the judge was a part of the selection process, what would happen? If the CJI is in the committee to recommend appointments and raises questions of violation, it raises basically questions of violation of the doctrine of separation of power, but I would like to refer to my colleague, Honorable Jawahar Sarkar said, that what would happen, that in the appointment of the CAG, some particular CAG turned out to have a CBI case against him. Now, if this was the situation here, wouldn't the CJI be a party to a decision on which he may be probably required to take a decision in the judicial capacity? Would it not be a travesty of justice then? The CJI, being a part of the judiciary, cannot be a part of any selection process in this country. Now, let me also remind you that under the RTI Act, in which most of the states who are represented here have elected the chief information commissioners and information commissioners, what is the selection process? The selection process is the chief minister, another senior minister, and the leader of the opposition. All of them have done. All of us have done. Is it all which has been done is absolutely trash? Is it something which has been mired in subjectivity, in bias? Absolutely not. So I think the process is fine. An element or a person from the judiciary cannot be a part of the process. Now I'll come to, ma'am, a point relating to, which has been raised quite a bit, which is relating to the issue of conduct of elections. After 1989, no party in a position to win a majority, the ECI faced few structural constraints on its autonomy. I had mentioned, ma'am, that right from the beginning, all election commissioners, whether it was a single member or a three-member committee, have always upheld the process, upheld democracy by conducting free and fair elections. The motive has been to decrease money power, to increase transparency, to increase more number of people to access to the electronic voting machines, access to the booths. And in that process, the model code of conduct was brought out. Model code of conduct doesn't have any legislative backing. It is an unanimous decision between parties. And that is being enforced by the Election Commission. So the Election Commission, even after 1989 onwards, has been holding this model code of conduct as the beacon of democracy and has been holding the elections freely and fairly. Of course, there are always allegations and counter-allegations, but I can tell you that in the recent survey, in a countrywide survey conducted by the Center for the Study of Developing Societies, Delhi in 1996, after the 11th general election, the EC stood as the institution that was trusted the most by people, followed by the judiciary, the state government, local self-government, so on and in that order. And this, despite not having the advantage or not having the backing of a law to determine their conditions of service and appointments and salaries. Yes. So 96, this was the opinion this was the opinion way back in 96. And when I said, since Manoj Jha said, 1977 is the one which was the watermark in Indian democracy. Democracy was under threat. Even during that time, the elections were held and Mrs. Indira Gandhi's government was thrown out. And that shows that the Election Commission's transaction of business, which is covered under section 16 and 17 in Chapter 4, is not affected by the appointment process that is followed. And the appointment process that is followed is something on which I said the references to the RTI Act. And also, let me also inform the House that insofar as the appointment of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India is concerned, there is not even a search committee, not even a selection committee. And the Supreme Court in the this Constituent Assembly, Mr. Ambedkar held that the CAG is a functionary which is even more important than the judiciary. Still, it is being done without a selection committee system, and still it is performing to the best of its abilities for the service of the nation. Ma'am, there is one point which I wanted to make in addition, which is by way of suggestion. The point which is mentioned about Election Commission's conditions of service of election commissioners, transaction of business 91 is hereby repealed. Now, what happens to the existing commissioners and the existing chief election commissioner who have been appointed by the previous act? If this is repealed immediately, what happens to their conditions of service? I must thank the Honorable Minister that by way of amendment at number 37, I had a lot of things to say on that. Fortunately, this amendment has been brought, and that is a sense of the House that his status should have been kept at the level of the Supreme Court of India. This has been restored. Only one correction here, Honorable Minister. At page 2, it is written, it should be page 3, and 43 to 45, whatever has been mentioned, is well made. The other suggestion, the other query that I have is the election, this has already been mentioned, the removal of the election commissioners has not been made at par with the removal of the chief election commissioner. In this amendment 2, at number 2, the chief election commissioner shall not be removed from his office except in like manner and on the like grounds as a judge of the Supreme Court. The other election commissioners shall not be removed from office except on the recommendation of the chief election commissioner. Does it mean that they would also follow the same procedure and also an additional recommendation from the chief election commissioner? Or only the chief election commissioner can remove? I think this clarity has to be brought into this particular amendment. The Supreme Court and the 1991 Act have already made it very clear that the election commissioners and the chief election commissioners should be put on the same footing, except that the chief election commissioner is first among the equals. Now, if that is so, I think the removal procedure should also be ensured. One more point, and this is a very significant point. This is relating to the independence. The independence of an organization like the Chief Election Commission is more linked to the way their conditions of service are governed. If the conditions of the service can be changed after their appointment, if their appointment tenure can be reduced, if their salaries can be reduced, if the removal procedure can be changed, then it is an affront to their independence, not at the appointment process. And therefore, in the appointment and conditions of service of the CAG also, it says that none of these can be altered to the detriment of the Election Commission after the appointment has been made. And since that has also been maintained in the bill, I have no hesitation in saying that there is no affront to the independence and interference in the election process that has been argued by many of my colleagues before me. The last point is relating to the Election Commission in the process. The Election Commission is not just a three-member body. It has already been stated eloquently by my colleague, Mr. Jawahar Sarkar. The point here, the election machinery in India, the largest democracy, which when the whole world observes and is absolutely, they are completely taken aback, surprised that such an election is held without any kind of a problem and transfer of power takes place. Now, this is happening by the support of the machinery right till the municipality level, right till the panchayat level. So if that happens, if that is the case, then how come only 3 members are, their independence is important? Do you mean to say the judges of our Lord Judiciary are not independent? Do you mean to say our district magistrates, who actually are the returning officers during the elections, are not independent? Only these 3 people should be independent? I think this entire argument is fallacious, is based on absolutely an argument which is non-est in law, I would say. I would therefore end by saying that I support the bill. I would request the Honourable Minister to bring in these clarifications. I would thank him again for bringing him on par with the Supreme Court judge, and also would request that their removal procedure should be made equal, in which case their independence would actually and truly be preserved. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's not your turn. Subhash Chandra Bose. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are some offensive expressions which have been used in the speech by some members. I didn't want to interject in between. Particularly, my reference is to...
Can you mention the rule, please?
Yeah, this is rule number 238, point number, sub-point 7, madam. Okay? So this is some use, 261. Let me take up 261 first. 261 first, offensive expressions, use of offensive expressions, I would like them to be expunged. Terms like Katputli was used for a constitutional body, Kabja on a Chunav Ayog. These are highly objectionable words, and also daylight robbery of democracy. We are here.
You're a bit late. You
Sorry?
should have objected before Mr. Patnaik started. Because he never used such words. Whoever did before him, you should have objected at that time.
No, member
Mr.
Raghav
Bose,
Chedda has used these expressions.
Please.
I would like them to be
Mr. Bose, please. Mr. Bose, please.
No, why? Record.
Thank you, Madam. Adhyaksha.
Yes.
Pradhana Enikal Commissioner, ఎన్నికల కమిషనర్ నియామకానికి సంబంధించినటువంటి బిల్లుపై మాట్లాడే అవకాశం నాకు కల్పించినందుకు ముందుగా తమకు ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తున్నానమ్మా.
Excuse me.
Respected Madam,
Speaking in Telugu.
On behalf of my party, YSR Congress Party, I urge to support this bill. మనది ప్రపంచంలోనే అతిపెద్ద ప్రజాస్వామిక దేశం. ఈ దేశంలో స్వేచ్ఛగా, న్యాయబద్ధంగా, నిష్పక్షపాతంగా ఎన్నికలు నిర్వహించే ప్రక్రియ మనం రాజ్యాంగం కల్పించినటువంటి ఈ వ్యవస్థలో ఒక అంతర్భాగం. ఈ రాజకీయ వ్యవస్థలో. దేశంలో స్వేచ్ఛగా, న్యాయబద్ధంగా, నిష్పక్షపాతంగా ఎన్నికలు జరిపించడానికి మన రాజ్యాంగ నిర్మాతలు విజ్ఞతతో ఆలోచించి ఆ బాధ్యతను, అంటే ఆ కర్తవ్య నిర్వహణను ఎన్నికల సంఘం మీద, ఎన్నికల సంఘానికి అప్పగించారు. ఈ ఎన్నికల సంఘానికి చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్, ఎన్నికల కమిషనర్లు నియమించే విధి విధానాలు రూపకల్పన చేసి ఈ ప్రక్రియకు సంబంధించి ఈ బిల్లుపై ఈరోజు మనం ఈ సభలో చర్చించుకుంటూ ఉన్నాం. ప్రధానమంత్రి అధ్యక్షతన లోక్సభలో ప్రతిపక్ష నేత, అంటే మెజారిటీ కలిగినటువంటి ప్రతిపక్ష నాయకులు మరియు ప్రధాన మంత్రి గారు నియమించే ఆయన మంత్రివర్గంలో సహచరులు ఒకరిని ఈ సెలక్షన్ కమిటీలో ఎన్నికల సంఘం నియమించడానికి చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్, ఎన్నికల కమిషనర్లను రాష్ట్రపతికి సిఫార్సు చేసింది ఈ కమిటీ. సెలక్షన్ కమిటీ సిఫార్సుల మేరకు చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్, ఎన్నికల కమిషనర్ నియమిస్తూ రాష్ట్రపతి ఉత్తర్వులు జారీ చేస్తారు. ఈ బిల్లు యొక్క లక్ష్యం చీఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషనర్ నియమించడానికి అర్హులను ఎంపిక చేయడానికి ఒక సెలక్షన్ కమిటీని కూడా, అంటే సెర్చ్ కమిటీని కూడా నియమించి వెసులుబాటుని బిల్లు కల్పిస్తూ ఉంది. ఈ ప్రజాస్వామ్య విలువలు కాపాడేందుకు వీలుగా ఎన్నికల ప్రక్రియను ప్రశాంతంగా, నిష్పక్షపాతంగా, న్యాయబద్ధంగా నిర్వహించడం ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్ యొక్క బాధ్యత. రెస్పెక్టెడ్ మేడం, ఈ ఎన్నికల ప్రక్రియ ప్రజల్లో మరింత విశ్వాసాన్ని పెంపొందించి ప్రజలు ఈ ఎన్నికల వ్యవస్థను పరిరక్షించడం ఈ బిల్లు యొక్క ఉద్దేశాల్లో ఒక ప్రధానమైనటువంటి ఉద్దేశం. విత్ దీస్ అబ్జర్వేషన్స్ ఐ సపోర్ట్ దిస్ బిల్, మేడం.
That the quality of translation was not good.
Yes.
For instance, a search committee was being referred to as research committee. I just thought I should share that.
Even I realize that. You're right. Mr. Singh, Mr. A.D. Singh.
How much time do I have, ma'am? Huh?
नहीं, इन्होंने तो बहुत जल्दी खत्म कर दिया. इनका बाबा मिलेगा था.
हम शुरू करते हैं. Thank you, chairpersons, for giving me the opportunity to speak. But I am a little surprised by the election results which happened recently. Karnataka election was on 10th and the result was 13th. That is just after 3 days. Telangana on 30th November and result on 3rd December. Both the places, the ruling party lost. And wherever there was a gap of a month, 1 month, half month, then the results were different. So I am quite confused and perplexed by this. And so far as the independence of the Election Commission is concerned vis-a-vis the executive, I know how in recent times, no, there are two things. At least I'm happy that a particular member complimented Congress for the 1977 free and fair elections. But we have seen recently that one of the election commissioner, the way he was hounded, and he had no option but to resign and go to Manila or somewhere. The Constituent Assembly members were concerned over the need to ensure the independence of the Commission. B.R. Ambedkar said, in order that election may be free in the real sense of the word, they shall be taken out of the hands of the government of the day and conducted by the independent body called the Election Commission. The need of an independent body to hold elections was emphasized in courts in a number of cases. In TN Session versus UOI and others, it was observed that there can be no two options, that free and fair elections to our legislative body alone would guarantee the growth of a healthy democracy. in the country. The proposed bill jeopardizes this fundamental principle. And the proposal of this bill in today's political context, where issues are being raised and allegations revealed about the EC like never before, will be another nail in the coffin of the election authority, EC authority. And if the government is just reversing the decision of the Supreme Court in this matter after the judgment, that 5-judge bench, I don't want to go and repeat what other members have said. I think it is a very sad, it will be a very sad day in the history of the democracy of India. And so far as other colleagues are saying that, talking of the emergency, today we have a undeclared emergency, which is worse than the one which was done by Madam Gandhi. And the way the selection committee is supposed to select the election commission, then there's no point we should have a 3-member committee. Let the Honorable Prime Minister select a person. And so far as my colleague from the Biju Janata Dal talked about the CAG and other organization, I can personally tell him how it works. So fortunately, I don't want to put things in the house because it will be not very good. So I vehemently oppose this bill. And when our forefathers have given a constitution which really balanced between the judiciary, legislature and executive, and the way we are going, most of the institutions are being taken out of their powers, and whatever the ruling government says, they behave like this. So I vehemently oppose this bill.
Yes. Yes.
First of all, congratulations. It's wonderful to see you on the chair.
It's a temporary arrangement.
Yes, but when I saw it on the television in my room, it's coming across very, very elegant, very distinguished.
Thank you.
And very privileged to see you, holding the chair today.
Thank you.
I just want to share with my good friend and esteemed colleague, Mr. Singh, that he made a sweeping comment that there's an emergency and it's worse than the emergency of that time. Coming from a person from Bihar, coming from the land of Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan, coming from the land which fought to maintain the unity and integrity of India, which is the repository of knowledge in this country, which stood up for high principles and values and fought against the emergency, so much so that thousands of political workers, for no fault of theirs, except that they opposed the then government, with no allegations of corruption, no allegations of misdemeanor or any other sort, were put behind bars indiscriminately across the country. Probably thousands from Bihar also. Many who today are in the JDU, are in the RJD and all the various offshoots, as there are so many, it's difficult to remember their names also. But all of those were a part of the struggle against the emergency, which was totally unconstitutional, unwarranted, and an attack on democracy in the country. To make such a comment, where today we are all with great freedom able to speak in this house, where today there's freedom of democracy, freedom of speech, the media is vibrant, the judiciary is protecting the interests of the people of India, there's complete freedom across the country. And the only people behind bars are criminals, are people in whose houses you find 353 crores and counting cash, illegals, stashed away money, where the only people behind bars are murderers and criminals and land mafia and sand mafia and liquor mafia and arms dealers and defense dealers
A respected
in
leader
this day and age
of the House.
to compare
Excuse me,
those
leader
days
of the
of
House.
emergency with today is a blot on the very thinking of your party and the esteemed member of parliament.
Thank you, Leader of the House. But if you are talking about freedom, I think he used his freedom. आप बैठ जाइए. आपने let's.
Minute. I do.
उन्होंने कह दिया, आपने कह दिया. बैठ.
What I wish to convey, that we have seen enough of freedom yesterday. That was on display by the gesticulation, by the body language. What reference he made was metaphorically. Our metaphorical statement, if it is not made, what kind of democracy? I mean, you make new buildings, but there is no idea of democratic discourse. Democracy is never, ma'am. If JP was alive today, counterfactually speaking, he would have stitched an alliance of all progressive forces against their kind of politics. Thank you, ma'am.
Long list of freedom struggle leaders. There's not a single leader from Pandit Nehru to Sardar Patel to Gandhi who did not stay in my house in Patna and Muzaffarpur. So let them not teach me what democracy is. And let me tell you, one of the Russian big oligarchs had come to meet me a month back. While having dinner in my house, he said, Mr. Singh, you are more unsafe than me in Russia. So let not anybody teach me what democracy is. And I have already been to jail for not being a criminal. I should have also taken 10,000 crores from the bank and stayed in London. But I decided I will fight here. Whether you put me in jail again, I'm not bothered.
Mr. Britas.
There's a tragic paradox that is in full display. Ma'am, you were not here yesterday. Yesterday, the government was praising the Supreme Court for upholding the abrogation of 370. If at all an alien had come from some other planet, that person would have been completely taken aback the way in which the government is paying respects to the Supreme Court.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
If at all that alien continued for a day more, he would have been shocked to see that there is no relevance for the Supreme Court judgment, a 5-judge judgment. Sir, this is the classic somersault that is happening in the House. So the PM has been exhorting everybody, including my dear friend Agarwal ji, to make sure that the weddings are done in India. Sir, there is a marriage of convenience that is happening here now. You want it to be a convenient proposition to make sure that the election commission is being controlled fully by Government of India. Sir, it's an absolute fact that the intention of the government is to circumvent the Supreme Court verdict. What was the spirit and letter of the Supreme Court verdict? It was to make election commission independent, impartial, and neutral. But the bill which you have brought forward is contrary to the spirit of independence and fairness. Sir, I thought that the government would be willing and yielding for comprehensive electoral reforms. Sir, I'm afraid that we are not seeing the elephants that are roaming around in our drawing room.
John Bitas.
Sir, the two pillars of the electoral practice now, one is money power and muscle power. Yes. I would have wished the government, if at all there was a comprehensive electoral reforms that was being brought forward, so that it would have cleansed the political arena. Sir, now with this bill that is being passed, I would say that let us close down Nirvadan Sadan, let an outhouse of the ministry is being used for accommodating the election commission. Why do you want to waste time, sir, and energy, money, That is not required, sir. Sir, the Supreme Court had said that if at all there is no independence for the Election Commission, Mahesh Titmalaji, I invite your attention. The Supreme Court said, if at all there is no independence, it would lead to disastrous consequences. What does it mean? This bill is inviting disastrous consequences because you are making the Election Commission dependent, an appendix of the executive. Precisely that is your intention. Sir, even the search committee, the Honorable Ministry is going to head it. Even if the search committee decide on 5 people or 6 people, the selection committee can pick up somebody outside the search committee. They should have been a little more magnanimous towards the screening committee. They should at least respect the screening committee. Why is it that even the screening committee has been treated like that, without any courtesy? Sir, clause A2 says that selection committee may also consider any other person than those included in the panel by the search committee. So it defeats the purpose of the search committee, sir. Sir, electoral bonds, that is another contentious issue. It is with the Supreme Court. I don't want to comment about it.
Yes.
But the Home Minister had said that era of clean politics, and claims were made that it will lead to transparency and accountability in political funding while preventing future generation of black money. Sir, the same electoral bonds is opaque. That is a contention of the general public, according to me too. So, the scheme at very behest is opaque, undemocratic, and legitimizes corruption by the ruling dispensation. So, the former finance minister, I would quote him, Subhash Chandra Garg, he was there when the electoral bond was being brought in. He said that, why do business or companies donate bonds? Because they are hoping for some favor or seeking to protect their businesses. This is what the former finance secretary, who was instrumental, who was part of that team which brought the electoral bonds, said it. So what does it mean, sir? Sir, money power and muscle power, how to curb it? Sir, according to a study of CMS, the money spent in Lok Sabha election in 2019 saw a growth of 7 times from 1998 Lok Sabha polls. At that time, it was deemed to be 9,000 crore. Sir, 2019, the study says that at least 60,000 crore has been dumped for electioneering by the political parties, and major chunk would have been spent by Piyush Goyal's party. So now, 224, it is going to double, sir. So any legislation that is being brought forward should be to cleanse the political system, electoral system. Instead of that, you want to make it more opaque rather than cleansing the system, sir. Sir, we all know the story of Mr. Ashok Lavasa. What was his fault, sir? Sir, everybody got 2, 3 means, 4 means extra.
Conclude.
Yes, sir, I'm concluding, sir.
You have made significant points.
An honorable person, election commissioner, why was he ejected from his post, sir? So your election department, that is ED, was very active. There were raids conducted at his house, at his wife's house, son's house. He was ejected. And sir, it's a fact that even the big tech companies are being used to invade into the privacy, which has got cascading effect on the election, sir. Sir, one more thing, sir. What does it vitiate the electoral arena, sir? It's hate and hatred. So, in fact, though we go down in manufacturing, the manufacturing of fake news is very robust in this country, sir. So, these are the serious questions.
Ramnath.
Sir, I am rounding up, sir. I am rounding up.
You made your point.
These are the questions which...
Okay. You have made good points. Shri Ramnath Thakur, honorable members, I have got
इस बिल पर
input
बोलने का
from various
मौका आपने
members.
दिया.
One second. We will have voting at 6 o'clock. That is the sense of the House. 6. We have, and to have it at 6 o'clock, the Honorable Minister will give him the floor at 5:30. Please, ठाकुर साहब.
सभापति महोदय, आपने इस बिल पर बोलने का मुझे मौका दिया, मैं आपके प्रति कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करता हूं। मैं इस बिल के विरोध में बोलने के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूं। कल जिस खुशी के साथ सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डिसीजन पर सत्ताधारी दल के लोग खुशी मना रहे थे, बोल रहे थे, आज क्या हो गया कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डिसीजन को, उसके आदेश को, उसके निर्देश के विरुद्ध में बोल रहे हैं। मुझको आश्चर्य हो रहा है। सत्ता पक्ष के प्रथम वक्ता ने कहा जनता दल यू आरजेडी के बारे में कि ये लोग पारिवारिक गठबंधन के हैं, परिवार के लोग चलाते हैं। मैं जनता दल यू के एक साधारण सदस्य होने के नाते मैं उन्हें बताना चाहता हूं कि नीतीश कुमार जी का कोई परिवार का कोई आदमी राजनीति में नहीं है। सभापति महोदय, आप सीनियर मेंबर हैं।
ठाकुर साहब,
मैं नहीं बोला।
ठाकुर साहब, आप बहुत अनुभवी हैं।
हाँ।
दो अनुभवी लोग जब बात करते हैं तो बस जवाब नहीं देते हैं।
सभापति महोदय, मैं बहुत चिंतित हूं। मेरा 58 वर्ष का राजनीतिक अनुभव है। मैं देखता हूं स्कूलों में हेडमास्टर की क्या स्थिति हो गई, वाइस चांसलर की क्या स्थिति हो गई, और वही चीज मैं आज देख रहा हूं कि एक भरोसा था पॉलिटिकल लोगों के बीच में, इलेक्शन कमीशन के बारे में आस्था था, उसके बारे में हम अब क्या सोच रहे हैं, हमारा राजनीतिक भविष्य क्या होगा। मैं किसी दलगत भावना के से नहीं बोल रहा हूं, मैं एक पॉलिटिकल आदमी के नाते मैं बोल रहा हूं कि इस पर आप सोचिए, विचारिए, शोध कीजिए और तब बिल लाने का कृपा कीजिए। पूर्व वक्ताओं ने कहा है कि जो अंबेडकर का निर्देश था, अंबेडकर की जो सोच थी, उनका जो सोच था, उन्होंने जो विचारों से प्रकाशित करने का काम किया था, उस पर हम क्यों नहीं विचार कर रहे हैं? उस पर हम विचार क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? शोध क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? उस पर हम अमल करके उस पर चलने का कोशिश क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्देश का हम पालन क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? ये हमारी सोच है और हमारा ये है। आपको याद होगा सभापति महोदय, एनटी रामाराव की सरकार गिर गई थी, राष्ट्रपति ने उनको, गवर्नर ने उनको हटा दिया था। विश्वास के साथ सभी एमएलओ के साथ आंध्र प्रदेश के जो मुख्यमंत्री थे वो आए थे दिल्ली में और राष्ट्रपति से मिले थे। एक आस्था था राष्ट्रपति हमको न्याय देंगे, विचार देंगे और उस पर चलने का काम हम करेंगे। एनटी रामाराव को न्याय मिला और उस पर उन्होंने काम करने का काम।
कंक्लूड।
सभापति महोदय, मैं आपके माध्यम से सरकार से निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि चयन समिति का जो हमने देखा है, क्या है? कोई भी आदमी कहता है चयन समिति में हम घर के गार्जियन हैं और हम जो कहेंगे वही ना हमारे परिवार के सदस्य कहेंगे, और वो अगर एक आदमी विरोध में चले गए तो उसको समझाएंगे कि हम हेड हैं, हमारी बात मान लो, हमारी बात मान लो। एक कहानी करके आपसे निवेदन करना चाहता हूं। 20 बरस पहले हम में और हमारी पत्नी में कुछ विचारों पर मतभेद हो गया और वो गुस्सा में कह दी कि मैं मैके चली जाऊंगी।
कब? 20 साल पहले?
20 साल पहले। वो मर गई 20 मार्च 20 को। मैं मैके चली जाऊंगी। तो परिवार हमको चलाना था। अब वो गुस्सा में कह दी कि हम मैके चली जाऊंगी, तो हमने कहा कि ठीक है तुम मैके चली जाओ और बाल बच्चों को मैं नलिहाल भेज देता हूं और मैं अब ससुराल चला जाता हूं। फिर वही स्थिति हो जाएगी, फिर वही स्थिति हो जाएगी। आप जो ये कर रहे हैं,
मान्यवर,
क्या कर रहे हैं?
प्रमोद तिवारी जी कह रहे हैं,
आप ये जो कर रहे हैं
ठाकुर साहब,
क्या कर रहे हैं?
ठाकुर साहब,
इससे
ऑनरेबल मेंबर प्रमोद तिवारी जी कह रहे हैं ये घर घर की कहानी है। मैं प्रमोद तिवारी जी से असहमत हूं। मेरे को आज तक ऐसी धमकी नहीं मिली है।
आप भगवान हैं, आप भगवान हैं, आप भगवान हैं कि आपको ऐसी परिस्थिति नहीं मिली। आप भगवान हैं। मैं आपसे निवेदन करना चाहता हूं कि सरकार को आप कहें, सरकार सोचे। सरकार से मैं निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि आप इस बिल को वापस लीजिए, वापस ले लीजिए। कहे हमारे हम तो अभी शुरू किए हैं।
हो गया 7 मिनट से हो गया।
दूसरी बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि चुनाव के संचालन में निष्पक्षता और अखंडता सुनिश्चित करने के लिए चुनाव आयोग की स्वतंत्रता महत्वपूर्ण है। चयन प्रक्रिया में एग्जीक्यूटिव का कोई भी कथित प्रभाव बिना पक्षपात के अपनी जिम्मेदारियों को निभाने की चुनाव आयोग की क्षमता के बारे में चिंताएं पैदा कर सकता है। ये है भरगेट माने ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट का। तो आपसे निवेदन करना चाहता हूं सभापति महोदय जी, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बिल है और इसको आप ऐसे हल्के में नहीं लें।
थैंक यू सर।
हल्के में नहीं लें।
प्रोफेसर
निवेदन करना चाहते हैं
प्रोफेसर राम गोपाल यादव
सेलेक्ट कर।
प्रोफेसर राम गोपाल यादव।
ठाकुर साहब बैठ जाएं तब मैं बोलूं।
Sir, 5 minutes, but since time has been limited to 5:30, 4 minutes.
धन्यवाद श्रीमान। सर,
Ziaji knows the difficulty of this chair.
मैं केवल 2-3 बातें कहना चाहूँगा। एक तो ये कि संविधान निर्माताओं ने संविधान के माध्यम से संसद की सर्वोच्चता की बात की थी और कार्यपालिका, न्यायपालिका, इन सब को उनकी अपनी सीमाओं में रहने के लिए कहा था। न्यायपालिका उस स्थिति में जब कोई चैलेंज करे संसद से बनाए हुए कानून को, तो जुडिशियल रिव्यू के अधिकार का प्रयोग करके उस पर अपना फैसला दे सकती है। लेकिन न्यायपालिका थर्ड चैम्बर का रूप नहीं ले सकती, जैसे कभी अमेरिका की संसद को कहा गया था। राष्ट्रपति ने कुछ बनाया, उन्होंने रद्द कर दिया। संसद ने कानून बनाया, तो झमेला वहाँ हुआ था। लेकिन ऐसी स्थिति हमारे यहाँ नहीं है। लेकिन अपनी बात पर आने से पहले मैं एक बात अवश्य कहना चाहूँगा कि बहुत ज़्यादा न्यायपालिका पर रिलाई न करें। अभी सिसोदिया की जमानत के वक्त सबने पढ़ा होगा कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या कहा था।
माननीय राम गोपाल जी, राम गोपाल,
अब मुझे एक मिनट बोल
नहीं, एक सेकंड। न्यायपालिका के
न्यायिक
आचरण पर
न्यायपालिका के खिलाफ नहीं न्यायपालिका संसद के खिलाफ जा सकती तो संसद के अंदर क्या कि मैं सही बात नहीं कह सकता हूँ अपना?
वो नहीं,
तो रहने दीजिए।
आपने पहले मौलिक बात कही, दमदार बात है। हम सब न्यायपालिका की भी इज्जत करते हैं, कार्यपालिका की भी करते हैं, और उम्मीद करते हैं कि न्यायपालिका, कार्यपालिका और विधायिका सशक्त रूप से अपने क्षेत्र में काम करेंगे। पर एक विशेष मामले को लेकर
अगर करे तब तो ठीक है।
नहीं, एक विशेष मामले को लेकर किसी व्यक्ति का नाम लेकर मैं आपसे अनुरोध करूंगा, आग्रह करूंगा।
जुडिशियल अकाउंटेबिलिटी की बिल संसद ने सर्वसम्मत से पारित नहीं किया था,
वो मौलिक मुद्दा है,
तो
उस पर बोलिए।
तो न्यायपालिका ने जनता की इच्छा का, संसद का की परवाह की, जब उनके ऊपर आया तो परवाह नहीं की, औरों के ऊपर चाहे हस्तक्षेप करने लगेंगे। लेकिन मैं कहना ये चाहता हूं कि ये सब व्यक्ति के व्यक्तित्व पर निर्भर करता है। टीएन सेशन के जमाने टीएन सेशन का सब व्यक्तित्व था कि उन्होंने लोगों को बताया कि इलेक्शन कमीशन क्या होता है। लेकिन अब इलेक्शन कमीशन ऐसा है कि सामने लोग टीवी पर देख रहे हैं कि पुलिस वोट नहीं दे रही है, पुलिस लोगों को मार रही है, रिप्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे हैं, लेकिन आंखें बंद किए हुए बैठे हुए हैं। तो अगर इस तरह के आपने देखा होगा, हम हर जगह देखा है सबने। मैं मिला जाके कमीशन से, कमीशन आंखें बंद किए रहे। इलेक्शन कमीशन की यही ड्यूटी नहीं होती सर। अभी वोट बढ़ रहा है, वोट कट रहा है, बूथ चेंज हो रहे हैं, आधा मोहल्ला यहाँ लगा है, आधा 3 किलोमीटर दूर लगा है। कुछ नाम ऐसे होते हैं जिनको पहचान लिया जाता है, जाति और धर्म से लाइन खींचते चले जाओ, लाइन खींचते चले जाओ। 50,000 वोट काट दिया, सुनने वाला नहीं कोई मुरादाबाद में, क्योंकि नाम से मुसलमान वोट पहचान लिया जाता है, जिसको चाहे उसको काट दो, कोई रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं। तो अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन में निष्पक्ष लोग नहीं होंगे, अगर वो बात नहीं सुनेंगे किसी की, तो डेमोक्रेसी क्या मतलब रह जाता है। डेमोक्रेसी का अर्थ ही ये है कि लोग अपनी इच्छा से, ईमानदारी से, फ्री और फेयर इलेक्शन के माध्यम से अपने प्रतिनिधियों को चुन सकें, अपने ऊपर शासन करने के लिए सरकार को चुन सकें।
थैंक यू।
लेकिन हो कहाँ रहा है ये? इसलिए मैं शासन से कहना चाहता हूँ, शासन में बैठे हुए लोगों से, कानून तो आप जैसा ला रहे हैं बनेगा ही वैसा।
थैंक यू प्रोफेसर।
नियत पे भी लोगों को संदेह है, लेकिन ऐसे लोगों को नॉमिनेट करना इलेक्शन कमीशन में जिनके अपनी अंतरात्मा नाम की कोई चीज हो, जो अन्याय न होने दें, जो सिर्फ आपके सारे
के लक्ष्मण, डॉक्टर के लक्ष्मण, थैंक यू। मैम, यू हैव बीन हियर।
Thank you, Chairman sir.
I have given him
for giving this
extra
opportunity to speak on this amendment of this.
You have been very kind to everyone.
Appointment of Election Commission.
No, you have been very kind. Everyone has appreciated
I
it.
Stand here.
So your sitting here has been a great challenge to me.
This bill. Bharat supposed to be the largest democratic country in the world and mother of democracy. Sir, this appointment of Election Commission, the matter has been brought under the purview of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has made it very clear. A temporary committee constituting Prime Minister, LOP and CJI until a law is enacted in the Parliament. But unfortunately, our friends, colleagues started saying that CJI has been removed from this 3-member committee. मैं बधाई देता हूं हमारे लॉ मिनिस्टर को। अपार्ट फ्रॉम प्राइम मिनिस्टर, LOP, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन एंड एन यूनियन मिनिस्टर, subject to correction, LOP, I don't think there is a opposition status even for this present Congress party in the Lok Sabha. In spite of that, our Honorable Minister is liberal enough to include as the largest party's leader also been included in the three-member committee. And sensing that even in future also it may happen, भविष्यवाणी भी जानते हैं हमारे मंत्रिपद इसलिए the leader of the party which has got highest number. So, ठीक है, आपको भी समय आएगा. So there is no way in violation of the judgment, sir. They should introspect first. It's a purely a meritless criticism against this government on the appointment of these election commissioners. You all should introspect what has happened all these years. What was the methodology adopted in appointing the election commission at national level, even at state level? And how these election commissioners are functioning. I really appreciate one of our colleagues from BJD. If they start now suspicious on even returning officers, this democracy would have not survived. I ask the appointment of the chairperson and staff of the tribunals, national green tribunals. Who is the authority in appointing this? The same central government for the last many decades. And even the National Human Rights Commission, supposed to be the Prime Minister is the chairperson and the ministers concerned. And these people never brought a holistic law for regulating the appointment of CEC and election commissioners. The policy paralysis, though they were in power for more than 6 decades. So when the matter is brought to the Supreme Court, though government has tried its best to make it fulfilled. One of the comments made by former Chief Election Commissioner, sir, by name O.P. Rawat, I quote, sir, the issue before the Supreme Court was not who will be on the selection committee. It was why did you, the earlier government, not enact a law as promised or laid down in the Constitution. So you make a law until then our suggested panel will select CEC and ECs. In the Constitution, Parliament is the supreme law-making body and Supreme Court has the power to judicially review the Constitution. So I don't think there is any issue in this. This is the statement given by O.P. Rawat, the formal and Chief Election Commissioner. Sir, people have started and shown much respect and regards towards Supreme Court judgments. I fail to understand what happened when there was a judgment by Supreme Court on Shabanu case. What made the government to bring an ordinance? Was it not a political motive and superseding the Supreme Court judgment? And even then, when Session was a Chief Election Commissioner, he was the man instrumental in bringing electoral reforms, right from implementing strictly the model code of conduct. And the Congress government in 93, they have added 2 more persons to belittle T.N. Session. Mr. Gill and GVG Krishnamurthy were being added to just belittle the powers of T.N. Session. And this is the attitude of the then government, Congress government, and they'll speak of democracy and they speak of internal democracy. And even 2009, the Chief Election Commissioner N. Gopalaswamy was recommended the removal of the person called Naveen Chawla. Earlier, our member has told that who is the secretary for former Prime Minister. So, sensing that he is in a partisan attitude, working as a member in the Election Commission, Gopal Swamy recommended for his removal. But unfortunately, the then government rejected the request of this Chief Election. This is the democracy which they adopted. Sir, apart from this, now our government has brought a 3-member committee apart from Prime Minister, LOP, and Union Minister. So, before these so-called members of the opposition parties opposing this bill, they should not only introspect, they should also know what measures have you taken during the ensuration of the constitutional norms of separation of powers. What were they have the methodology followed. More extensive, even the quasi-judicial constitutional bodies like CAG, yes sir, UPSC, NCSC, NCBC, NCST, and so on. They never bothered. And in practice, it was the government alone they have decided. Sir, finally,
please conclude.
By supporting this bill, I would like to make some recommendation, because the black money which is playing a dominant role in the present day politics, we have been witnessing how hundreds of crores of rupees now, the black money is now coming out. Sir, to eradicate black money from the politics, the government is also
Dr. Amit Shah.
And also,
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I get up to speak on this very important bill. But having listened to all the speakers, and especially the Honorable Law Minister, I wish that they had gone back to 1949 June Constituent Assembly debates and seen the extent of the debate that had taken place on this particular issue of election commission. And the only statement that came out of the whole debate was that election politics, election machinery, and election should be completely out of the hands of the executive. There should be no executive interference, and this should be an independent, autonomous body. Having said that, sir, I come back to the Law Commission report of 2015, where exactly 2 lines were said by the Law Commission in the report, and that was that the Law Commission said that there should not be any breakdown of rule of law. Now, rule of law, which is meant in the democratic setup today, is that there should be strong institutions, a vibrant democracy, and all institutions should be independently working for the people of this country post-independence. Now, coming to the Supreme Court and the Apex Court judgment of 2000, in the matter of 2015, which has been raked up by many. And I've also heard that some of them have said that there have been selective liking to the Honorable Apex Court's judgments and selective not liking of the Honorable Apex Court judgments. Sir, the Honorable Apex Court in a matter of 2015 said that there was a constitutional vacuum because there was no procedure which was shown in a particular bill by Parliament, no law. So there should be the vacuum, that vacuum should be sorted out. And hence this bill has come today, the 2023 which says that the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners bill 2023. So why the necessity for this bill? I would like to make some observations which I have seen in the public domain, that there have been instances where enlightened citizens have written to the Honorable President of our country, pointing out that there seems to be a crisis of credibility with this particular institution. We have seen that there have been instances where intelligent people and intellectuals and academicians have written very strongly that this institution needs a robust mechanism of transparency, a mechanism that is responsible to the people of this country. And hence, you again come to a question, what does the Election Commission of this country do? So you can start from electoral bonds, you can start from electoral voters, electoral voter IDs, electoral rolls, and you can talk about all the dates and the schedules which are set by the Election Commission for every election, whether it's a Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President, Vice President, or state legislative assembly elections. But the most important part is the silent period of the election, where the Election Commission plays kind of a supervisory role where the code of conduct comes into picture. That is where the transparent working of the Election Commission becomes completely open to the people of this country. And the elections are meant for the people of this country, and this voting system is meant for the people of this country. And so when we are talking about the Election Commission of India's setting up under this particular bill, the moot question comes that there is not a set of laws whereby the Election Commission functions. There are some certain kind of procedures which can be said that they are replacing the the strict law or the wordings of the law. And these procedures need to be transparent. These procedures, if they are done transparently, then the accountability is seen, very visible. Now for this, the main and the thrust of the bill should be that the composition of the Election Commission should be such that whatever I have said should be seen to be implemented. And hence, when we come to the composition, we come to the part where the Honorable Apex Court had put the word Chief Justice of India, where the committee should be of the Honorable Prime Minister, the leader of opposition, and the Chief Justice of India. In this bill, you find that the composition of this is the Honorable Prime Minister, a Cabinet Minister, and the leader of opposition. So sometimes you start wondering why there is a question or an iota of doubt, because the Cabinet Minister, if it's of the ruling party, where would the transparency or accountability go? And where would this be seen to have been exercised under this bill? Why should there not be an independent and an accountable component in this kind of compositions? Sir, when you talk about the Election Commission of India, the people of this country and also the world, they're watching that it's a vibrant democracy. When I went to 1949, the Constituent Assembly debates, it was just a country that had become independent after a long rule of subjugation. And at that time, the framers of the Constitution wanted a very, very robust and independent and accountable election commission which would decide the fate of the voters, the liking of the voters, the intent of the voters to bring in a democracy, bring in some kind of a ruling dispensation that would only cater to the democracy of this country and build democratic institutions and see that this democracy becomes a vibrant democracy. Sir, the institutions are meant to be for the people of the country and not for ruling parties. The institutions are meant to deliver fairness. And if an election commission will not be able to see that the elections are conducted in a free and fair manner, in a transparent manner, then where is the component of democracy and where is the way in which the governance model is being shown or projected to the world? And that brings us to the moot question whether this bill needs some rectification, whether the bill needs to be looked into on several other aspects. It has been functioning for a long while, but as I have said that there have been instances, I do not want to pinpoint instances because suddenly a huge group of people will get up and start shouting, but will not understand what is the backbone of bringing an Election Commission of India in a way where it caters to the need of the people of this country, and that is the transparent mechanism, the rule of law. Books and books have been written on the rule of law of this country. That depends on the independent institutions. If a bill weakens the institutions, and we have weak institutions in place where anything can be distorted, then the functioning of the democracy cannot be said to be a vibrant functioning. And that is why when the Election Commission of India, which is the highest body, and the Central Election Commissioner, who will, I'm not going into the tenure and the salary and the period of the tenure. That happens in every other institutions. But the composition makes a difference because that composition will decide the accountability and transparency factor and the performance factor which will tell on the elections. Sir, when I talked about the silent period, nobody has touched upon that. But when there's a silent period, that is the time where the Election Commission has to function very strictly and has to be very vigilant, because if that code of conduct is breached, and when the voters are given that silent period to make up their mind where they want to vote, and at that particular time, when a particular ruling dispensation comes up with some kinds of statements that we would be doing this, we would be doing that, we have done that, and tries to influence the voters, This falls in the arena of the Election Commission. And as there is not a stringent procedure or rule or law, it is governed by its actions, and these actions are dependent on who is sitting in that particular Election Commission's body. Hence, sir, coming back to the Election Commission's regulation procedures and how this model code of conduct and parties is being governed, I think that is the main crux of the whole matter. So the Honorable Apex Court saw that there is a constitutional vacuum, and this has to go in the arena of the Parliament, and the Parliament can only make a bill or pass a bill and make a law. Hence, the Apex Court's order was that this should be the composition. But when the framers, the parliamentarian sitting here and bringing a bill thinks that this can be changed, it can be brought in a way where it is not seen as independent composition, where it raises some kind of doubt, and hence this debate, and everyone comes out with some point or the other. I think it's time that the Honorable Law Minister looks at this particular point of the composition aspect, because anyway the duty is going to be performed. You are in public eye, and I do not want to show what has happened in the past. I just mentioned a couple of them issues. Some of them are already pending before the Honorable Apex Court, where the Election Commission has been asked a question, and that depends, that pertains to several factors. Parties' money, parties' intentions, the way the party collects all the money, and how it is not transparent. All these are issues with the Election Commission. It's an administrative function, but yet these matters have gone to the Honorable Apex Court. We should not forget that. Of course, the functions of the legislative, the executive and the judiciary are all different, and the judiciary only interprets what is made by the Parliament, and it is implemented by the executive. But here we have a body which also functions in a way where it interprets and executes both. So we have to understand that it's a unique body, and how this unique body has to be answerable to the people. In order to see that we become a robust democracy, we need to set an example by shouting, by making sermons, by talking about that we are becoming the world leader. That's not going to matter. What you are doing on the ground is the matter before the people of this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shri R. Girirajan. Shri R. Girirajan ji.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. I thanks to our party floor leader, Trichy Siva. Whenever the Honorable Supreme Court intervened to save the democracy, this union government shows its strength through this House and destroy the vicious views of the Supreme Court. Sir, earlier, the National Capital Territory Amendment Bill, it has been amended by this House with a brutal majority. Now, the union government wants to make easy like puppets. The bill seeking to exclude the Chief Justice of India from the panel to select the Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioners is deeply flawed. Sir, this bill will undermine the very democratic foundation of the picking very important executives to oversee the election process in autonomous and neutral roles. This will provide the worst possible optics to the appointment of the election officials from among a set of the chosen bureaucrats or others by a panel of government officials. Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin once said, "It is not the people who vote the count, it is the people who count the votes." I think the present bill reflects the minds of the ruling dispensation execution of the ideas of the Joseph Stalin. In eroding the process of holding elections and counting votes that has been largely done in a favor way to satisfy a large working electoral democracy like India. The present rulers are opening a Pandora's box, may let loose forces that may come back to the bite. Sir, this bill, rather than strengthening the democratic fabric of our nation, poses a risk to the independence and authority of the Election Commission. The proposed legislation undermines the crucial role of the Election Commission plays in upholding the democratic principles of our country. I strongly urge every member of this House to vote against this bill and instead supporting a fully functioning democracy that India represents. Sir, now Now, you are in treasury bench. Before 1990, we were having a few members in this parliament. Now you are in a brutal strength. It will not continue tomorrow. One day will come. Your acts will be amended. Mind it, my friends. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Sri Kanak Medla Ravinder Kumar.
Sir, I am very thankful to you, sir, for giving this opportunity to participate in the discussion and the bill pertaining to appointment, service conditions and term of the Chief Election Commissioner of India and other election commissioners. Sir, this bill has been brought before this House to replace the already existing Act, which lacks certain aspects pertaining to the office of the Chief Election Commissioner and the election commissioners. The lacuna has been pointed out by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and it observed until proper legislative mechanism is put in place, the order will prevail in the appointment, service conditions and tenure of the election commissions, Chief Election Commissioners. This bill provides a search committee and a select committee. The functions of the search committee is to form a panel of eligible candidates to the post of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners. After forming the panel, it will forward the list of names to the persons to the select committee. The select committee will be headed by Cabinet Secretary. The two officers not below the rank of the Secretary to the Government of India will also to the members of the select committee. The select committee will recommend to the President the name of the persons to be appointed with the Chief Election Commission. Accordingly, they will be appointed by at a glance, the provisions seems to be fine, but one goes to the provisions contained in Section 8(2) of the bill. The selection committee may also consider any other person than those included in the panel of the search committee. So, therefore, the provision relating to appointment of search committee become infructuous. So, in the other aspect, the powers conferred, such power is already conferred under Article 324 of the Constitution of India.
Kindly conclude, sir. Kindly conclude.
Sir, I have
time is 2 minutes.
Time. I have 6 minutes time, sir.
2 minutes.
So I am sure that's 6 minutes time.
No, sir.
Sir, coming to the, I thought I have 6 minutes, I prepared like that. I may be permitted. So, with regard to the section, section 6, section 8, it has to be amended. The coming to the other action, other provision with regard to the section is concerned, there is no mention with regard to the appointing authority of the select search committee members.
Please conclude, sir. Please conclude.
Sir. The conducting of elections in a free and fair manner is very most important. And criminality in electoral, representations of people's act is another important. These two has to be looked into in connection with the Andhra Pradesh. That's with the criminality, the criminal there,
from Lok
and
Sabha.
voters also. 1 minute, sir.
Please conclude. Please conclude.
And deleted by the behest of the state government. That is to be condemned. The bills has to be. It requires recent reforms has to be looked into. Representation of People's Act to change the voters list, interference of the state government, and also dispose of criminal cases against the people's representatives, including the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh.
Thank you. Message from Lok Sabha. Secretary General.
Sir, with your kind permission, I rise to report that the Lok Sabha at its sitting held on 12th December 2023 passed 1. The Appropriation Number 3 Bill 2023 and 2. The Appropriation Number 4 Bill 2023. The Speaker has certified that these bills are money bills within the meaning of Article 110 of the Constitution. I lay a copy each of the said bills on the table.
Dr. Dinesh Sharma, 2 minutes.
जो लिखा उसी पे चलना 2 मिनट.
मानवर मैं बधाई देना चाहूँगा सम्मानित कानून मंत्री जी को कि उन्होंने एक पारदर्शी, निष्पक्ष और संविधान के संरक्षण में लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं को अक्षुण्ण रखने के लिए एक जो बिल ये लाए हैं, मैं समझता हूँ उसने सभी पक्षों को छुआ है। पहले जो बिल था उसमें मैं कहूँगा कि पहले ही स्पष्ट कर दिया कि जो अनुच्छेद 324 के अधीन अस्थायी चयन समिति का गठन किया गया था, उक्त अस्थायी समिति माननीय प्रधानमंत्री, नेता प्रतिपक्ष और उच्चतम न्यायालय के मुख्य न्यायमूर्ति से मिलकर बनती है और इस संबंध में विधि बनाए जाने तक माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय द्वारा किया गया यह अस्थायी प्रबंध है। अब एक स्थायी प्रबंध दिए जाने का दायित्व एक लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं को अनुरक्षित करने वाला, मैं समझता हूँ सबसे बड़ी सर्वोच्च संस्था के द्वारा ये किया जा रहा है। मुझे आश्चर्य होता है उन लोगों पर जिन लोगों ने कभी भी जो संवैधानिक संस्थाएं हैं उनका पूर्णतः सम्मान नहीं किया और आज इमरजेंसी ऐसी स्थितियां आई, साहबानों के प्रकरण में विभिन्न प्रकार के जो न्यायालय के निर्णय थे उनको बदला गया, लेकिन आज जो दिए गए तथ्यों के आधार पर पारदर्शिता के साथ में जो तमाम संशोधनों के साथ एक पूर्ण व्यवस्था को देने का काम इस विधेयक में किया गया है, उसके बारे में तमाम आपत्ति उठाई। मुझे आश्चर्य होता है इस बात को जानकर कि विपक्ष और खासतौर से मैं सामने बैठे हुए ऐसे लोगों को जो काफ़ी समय तक सत्ता में रहे, उनके डर को मैं नहीं समझ पाया कि उनको डर किस बात का है कि नेता प्रतिपक्ष रहेंगे चयन समिति में और उनके रहते हुए गलत कैसे हो जाएगा। क्या वो अपने नेता को जो प्रतिपक्ष नेता के रूप में कमजोर मानते हैं या वो ये मानते हैं कि अगले बार हमारा नेता प्रतिपक्ष नहीं हो सकता?
प्लीज कंक्लूड, टाइम इज ओवर अलॉटेड बाय योर पार्टी।
5 मिनट का समय मान्यवर मुझे दिया गया था पार्टी की तरफ से।
5:30 बजे मंत्री जी को बोलना है।
मैं कह सकता हूं कि आज ये विधेयक एक लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं की एक निष्पक्ष प्रक्रिया को पूर्ण करने में तमाम प्रकार के प्रावधानों को करते हुए इसमें इसको लाया गया है और जो लोग ये समझते हैं कि ये सार्वभौमिक नहीं है, जो ये समझते हैं कि इसमें पक्षपात हो सकता है, मैं समझता हूँ भ्रम की स्थिति है। कुछ लोग तो ऐसा कहते हैं कि जो लोग आपस में बेमेल गठबंधन में रहे उनका भी ये कहना है कि अगर आज जेपी होते तो आज निश्चित रूप में जेपी होते तो आज वो कांग्रेस की जो उन मनोवृत्तियां थी, जो संविधान के विरुद्ध जो इमरजेंसी लगाने की प्रवृत्ति उसका विरोध करते। मैं ये मानता हूं कि आज का
श्री विनय विश्वम जी
है पूर्णतः न्याय संगत और लोकतांत्रिक परंपराओं का अनुरक्षण करने वाला ये बिल है। मैं इसका पूर्णतः समर्थन करता हूं।
सर, हाउ मेनी मिनट्स?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
No, sir. The total time allotted was 6 hours for this bill. In that way, we have a right to have 6 minutes.
But it is written here for 2 minutes.
No. Tell me the reason.
Please start. Your time is started.
In 2 minutes, how can I talk on an important bill?
It is given to everyone 2 minutes.
No, sir. Total time 6 hours.
Your time is running, sir. Please start.
So from now onwards, I start for 5 minutes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, yesterday, this house saw a scene. Our friends of the BJP, all of them were very vocal in support of the Supreme Court. In high esteem, they placed the Supreme Court yesterday. And today, what you see, after 24 hours, they say that nothing is Supreme Court. They forgot their words yesterday. Sir, this is the BJP, sir. This is the BJP, sir. Sir, Ambedkar was quoted here very much. Our friend Shiva quoted him. And we all remember that words. That debate in the assembly, which was meant for the framing of the constitution, was very clear, sir. The categorical time is that Election Commission should be free from the executive interference, control. But they want to make it under the control of the executive, the Prime Minister. So for them, Ambedkar is only for certain hours, certain needs. Normally, They are following the footsteps of Hitler, sir. Hitler has total disregard for the parliaments. In the 1930s, Hitler even burned the Reichstag, the German parliament. And these people are trying to sabotage the parliamentary democracy. The election, the free and fair elections are not important for them. That's why they want to make...
Please conclude, sir.
Sir, Sir, election commission made by the bureaucrats, controlled by the Prime Minister, avoiding the dictates of the Prime Minister, is going to see that the one nation, one election theory of the BJP is going to make big damage to the country. And they want to make sure that only one party should do everything here. Sir, in 2018, Amit Shah made a statement for the workers of the BJP.
Conclude, sir, conclude.
Sir, last sentence. Amit Shah told, if we win the election in 2019, then for the next 50 years, we will control India. Sir, for that purpose, they bring this bill, sir. They want to make the election commission as a goat in their farmhouse.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
In that way,
Shrimati Mahua Maji.
And you objected, sir.
सर, इस बिल के पारित होते ही जो सबसे बड़ा धक्का हमारे देश को लगेगा वो ये है कि विश्व दरबार में जो 140 करोड़ जनसंख्या वाले जिस भारत को सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र के रूप में और सबसे बड़ी निष्पक्ष और तटस्थ चुनावी प्रक्रिया के लिए सम्मान की नज़र से देखा जाता था, उस देश के लोकतंत्र की शुचिता संदेह के घेरे में आ जाएगी। मैं अपने पार्टी की तरफ से इस बिल का पुरजोर विरोध करती हूं। यह अनैतिक है, असंवैधानिक है और बाबा साहब अंबेडकर तथा संविधान सभा के सदस्यों की उपेक्षा है, अवहेलना है, असम्मान है। स्वस्थ लोकतंत्र के लिए स्वतंत्र निष्पक्ष चुनाव आवश्यक होता है, जो इस बिल के पारित होते ही असंभव हो जाएगा। यदि चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की नियुक्ति में सत्ता पक्ष बहुमत में होगी तो वह चुनाव आयोग निष्पक्ष और पारदर्शिता से चुनाव कैसे कराएगी? जनता उस पर कैसे यकीन करेगी कि ईवीएम और वीवीपैट में गड़बड़ी नहीं हो रही है? हो भी सकता है। आधुनिक दुनिया के बहुत बड़े चिंतक है फ्रांस के फूको और इटली के अगम्बेन। उन्होंने भी कहा था कि जनतंत्र की खिड़कियां खुली रहनी चाहिए ताकि ताजी जनतांत्रिक हवाएं अंदर आ सके। इससे देश मजबूत होता है। मगर लगता है कि इन दिनों आजकल मुसोलिनी और हिटलर ज़्यादा पढ़े जा रहे हैं। अभी जो चुनाव आयोग है वह देश का चुनाव आयोग है। जैसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट देश का सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, लेकिन जो बिल है वो चुनाव आयोग को भारत सरकार का चुनाव आयोग बनाना चाहता है। क्योंकि अगर आप चुनाव आयुक्तों की नियुक्ति के पैनल से मुख्य न्यायाधीश को हटा देंगे और उस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष प्रधानमंत्री द्वारा चुने गए कैबिनेट मंत्री को शामिल करना चाहते हैं, तो आयोग ठीक वही करेगा जो सरकार चाहेगी। आखिर सरकार चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को इस कमेटी से बाहर क्यों करना चाहती है? बिल के अनुसार सरकार उनकी सैलरी भी इस तरह तय करना चाहती है कि वो सरकारी आदमी लगे। अभी उसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज के बराबर सैलरी मिलती है, जबकि सरकार नए बिल में उसे मुख्य सचिव के बराबर रखना चाहती है। लोकतांत्रिक संस्थाओं को कमजोर करने और एजेंसियों के दुरुपयोग का इन दिनों सरकार पर लगातार इल्जाम लग रहा है। चुनाव आयोग को भी क्या वह अपने नियंत्रण में लेना चाहती है? आखिर इस बिल की जरूरत क्या है? चुनाव आयोग के चुनाव में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस को क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? और इस कमेटी जो 3 सदस्यीय कमेटी है, तो उसमें अगर वोट होगा तो उनके पक्ष में होगा, तो फिर नेता प्रतिपक्ष की क्या जरूरत है? और सरकार को यह कभी नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि दुनिया में कोई ऐसा साम्राज्य नहीं है या कोई ऐसा राजा नहीं है जिसने अनंत काल तक शासन किया। सत्ता परिवर्तन यूनिवर्सल ट्रुथ है। यदि हमारे साथियों के पास इसका कोई दृष्टांत है तो बताए। और सबसे बड़ी बात मैं कहना चाहूँगी, मैं सत्ता पक्ष से आपके माध्यम से यही कहना चाहती हूँ महोदय कि हमें यह नहीं भूलना चाहिए कि ये तख्तो ताज का दौर नहीं, ये मुस्कुराहटों का दौर नहीं, ये जनशक्ति का दौर है,
सुश्री इंदु बाला गोस्वामी,
सब कुछ
2 मिनट।
हमारा यह प्यारा सा देश, मगर लोकतंत्र पर प्रहार नहीं। धन्यवाद।
सुश्री इंदु बाला गोस्वामी 2 मिनट नहीं है। नेक्स्ट लो अब्दुल बहाव जी नहीं है। नीरज शेखर जी 2 मिनट।
नीचे से संशोधित सूची मंगा लीजिए, संशोधित सूची आ चुकी है।
मंगाओ जी मंगाओ। अजीत कुमार भुयान जी 2 मिनट। बोलिए सर।
democracy and the fundamental rights are the soul of the Indian Constitution, and the Election Commission has been a very strong instrument to utilize the confidence among people that their democratic right will be saved by getting elected representatives in a free and fair election process. Sir, there has been an amendment in the process and the manner of appointment of the Election Commission way back in 1991, when one-member commission was converted into three-members commission to avoid monopoly of one individual, and that amendment was supported by all political parties, including BJP. But now the amendment that has been put for consideration in the Parliament has no consensus component and rather a bulldozing act. Sir, the Election Commission must be perceived and honored as independent, then democracy will flourish. I am sorry to say the election of an election commissioner will be compromised if the government of the day has a majority monopoly. The removal of the Chief Justice of India from the selection process will certainly create a strong doubt in the minds of the people of opposition that the incumbent government has malicious intent. Sir, my sincere suggestion will be, if the government of the day seems to be seen as judicious in amendment of ECI Act, Prime Minister and leader of two major political parties should be made members of the selection process. Sir, two members from the government and a third member from the opposition cannot be a fair and unbiased selection committee of the ECI appointment process. In the wisdom of every layman, the proposed bill is nothing but a majority bullet to the soul of the Constitution. However, the bill that has been put for consideration is not going to create confidence when already several political parties and individual constitutional experts have expressed doubt about the partiality of the ESI. Why not two major opposition party leaders in Lok Sabha and the Prime Minister constitute a panel of the selection process to appoint the Election Commission of India? I will conclude, करो सब कुछ, लेकिन ऐसा ना करो कि लोगों का विश्वास ही टूट जाएगा लोकतंत्र से। लोकतंत्र रहेंगे तो आओगे जाओगे, लेकिन अगर नहीं रहेगा लोकतंत्र तो कैसे फिर आओगे? थैंक यू।
सुश्री कविता पाटीदार 2 मिनट।
माननीय सभापति महोदय, इतने महत्वपूर्ण बिल पर मुझे बोलने का अवसर प्रदान करने के लिए मैं आपका धन्यवाद प्रेषित करती हूं। लेकिन अपनी बात की शुरुआत करने के पहले अभी एक माननीय सदस्य ने एक बात कही थी कि कोई भी राजा ऐसा नहीं रहा जो अनंत काल तक रहा है। मैं उसका जवाब देना चाहती हूं कि राष्ट्र सेवा के लिए समर्पित, बिना किसी भेदभाव के लिए राष्ट्र हित में निर्णय लेने वाले लोगों को इस देश की जनता सिर माथे पर बिठाकर चलती है, और आने वाला अभी 3 राज्यों का जो परिणाम हुआ वो इसका समक्ष उदाहरण है। माननीय सभापति महोदय, भारत का चुनाव आयोग भारत में प्रतिनिधि लोकतंत्र को रीढ़ प्रदान करता है। यह चुनावी अखंडता का संरक्षक है। यह विधेयक मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त और अन्य चुनाव आयुक्तों की नियुक्ति, योग्यता, कार्यकाल और निष्कासन के प्रावधानों को एक रूपता प्रदान करता है। अभी मैं 2 बिंदुओं पर बोलना चाहूँगी माननीय महोदय। कुछ सदस्यों ने जो विपक्ष के हैं उन्होंने ये कहा कि ये बिल सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के निर्णय के खिलाफ है। तो मैं ये बताना चाहूँगी कि यह विधेयक चुनाव आयोग की नियुक्ति के बारे में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के अनुरूप ही लाया गया है। न्यायालय ने मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त और चुनाव आयुक्तों की नियुक्ति एक समिति के माध्यम से केवल तब तक करने का प्रावधान किया था जब तक कि संसद एक कानून पारित नहीं कर देती। वर्तमान विधेयक केवल न्यायालय द्वारा फैसले में दिए गए निर्देशों को पूरा करता है, क्योंकि कानून बनाने का अधिकार अंतिम संसद को होता है। और चूंकि न्यायालय ने एक तदर्भ समिति बनाई थी, न कि स्थायी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने यह स्पष्ट कर दिया था कि यह मापदंड तब तक प्रभावी रहेगा जब तक कि संसद इस मामले पर कानून नहीं बना देती, और ये कानून बनाने की प्रावधान आज इस संसद में शुरू हो गई है। महोदय, इस विधेयक का उद्देश्य विभिन्न पहलुओं को संबोधित करना है, जिसमें विधेयक में प्रयुक्त अभिव्यक्तियों की परिभाषा, नियुक्ति प्रक्रिया, योग्यताएं, खोज और चयन समिति की स्थापना, कार्यकाल की अवधि, वेतन, इस्तीफा, निष्कासन, पेंशन आदि शामिल है। एक और महत्वपूर्ण सब्जेक्ट में बोलना चाहूंगी माननीय आपके महोदय, आपकी अनुमति से, जो बहुत जरूरी है, कि वास्तव में इस विधेयक के साथ चुनाव आयुक्तों की नियुक्ति में विपक्ष के नेता की भूमिका भी होती है। मैं आपके माध्यम से इस सदन में विपक्ष के लोगों से पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्या विपक्ष द्वारा शासित कोई भी राज्य अपने
Chairman, sir.
2 minutes. Thank you.
Sir, Judge.
Thank you, Manya Kavita ji. Thank you.
Sir, I was holding as a
2 minutes.
election commission also when I was Minister of Law and Justice of Company Affairs. During 98-99, I was the law minister, and also so many law ministers we have seen. 77 years. Why the bill has not come, I couldn't understand. Now, recently, because of the Supreme Court interference, the bill is coming. I don't know what is the necessity, this one part. Second, sir, as for 71 years, we are the election commission conduct the elections very fairly. Otherwise, we would not come here. What is that? Therefore, we cannot blame the election commission bringing this kind of bill, one thing. Second, regarding some of the members from that side, dynastic politics, they said. As far as the ADMK party is concerned, our party General Secretary Edapadi Palaniswamy made it clear in the ADMK party there cannot be any dynastic politics. That what followed by Perina Anna and also MGR, Purchadali Amma, all we never followed the dynastic politics. It is a democratic way our party is functioning. In that way, we follow that. Second, sir, regarding the, when I was law minister, at that time, Gill was the election commissioner, I know very well. I never interfered, and also you functioned independently. Sir, now you know you appointed me as a chairman of the Assurance Committee. The election reform for that, we called the election commission to appear before the committee. The election commission said we cannot appear before the committee because we are the independent body. You can call the only ministry. Therefore, such a way, the election commission is still having independent functioning. Government is not interfering.
Thank you.
I don't think there is any necessity this kind of.
Deepak Prakash, 2 minutes.
मैं इस बिल के समर्थन के लिए खड़ा हूं सर। यह विधेयक ऐसे समय में लाया गया जो अमृत काल में, ये गागर में सागर भरने वाला बिल है सर। और ये विधेयक 2015 की रीट के बारे में कांग्रेस के कई सदस्यों ने चर्चा की। वो आधा अधूरा निर्णय को सदन के पास ला रहे हैं, लेकिन सच में ये बिल, ये विधेयक जो है सो इस निर्णय के अनुसरण में लाया गया है। उसी अनुबर्णमाल बनाम भारत संघ के जो निर्णय आए थे उसी के अनुसरण में लाया गया है, और उसके अनुसरण करते हुए सदन को अधिकार है कोई कानून बनाने का और कोई कानून को निरस्त करने का। और हमको फक्र है, हम सब लोगों को फक्र है कि हम उस सदन के सदस्य हैं जहां कानून बनता है और कानून को निरस्त किया जाता है। यह सदन, इसमें इस पूरे विधेयक में नियुक्ति की प्रक्रिया पारदर्शी है सर, तथा लोकतांत्रिक ढंग से इसमें नियुक्ति की प्रक्रिया बनाई गई। और मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि इस विधेयक में कांग्रेस के कालखंड में जब नियुक्ति की प्रक्रिया होती थी तो पहले क्या सर्च कमेटी होती थी क्या? पहले कोई चयन समिति होती थी क्या? पहले कोई कांग्रेस के समय में न सर्च कमेटी होती थी, न चयन समिति होती थी, और खाता ना बही, जो एक परिवार कहे वही सही होता था दोस्तों, यही सही होता था। इसलिए मैं सामने बैठे हुए कांग्रेस के मित्रों, विपक्ष के मित्रों से इस चिंता को, बस 1989 में जब चुनाव आयोग में एक सदस्य होता था तो उस वक्त एक ऑफिशियल ऑर्डर के माध्यम से उस वक्त के तत्कालीन प्रधानमंत्री ने 2 लोगों को जोड़ दिया था, उस वक्त नियुक्ति की प्रक्रिया कहाँ चली गई थी? 1990 में जब बीपी सिंह की सरकार आई तो उस वक्त फिर एक सदस्य, 1 मिनट सर, हमको संरक्षण दे दिए सर, 1 मिनट। 1990 में जब बीपी सिंह की सरकार आई तो फिर से एक आयुक्त की नियुक्ति हुई, लेकिन 1993 में जब सेशन के द्वारा चुनाव आयोग की सुधार की प्रक्रिया तेज हुई तो नरसिम्हा राव की सरकार ने एक और आयुक्त को बना करके
Shri G.K. Vasan, sir, 2 minutes.
Yeah. Sir, as a modern democracy, the mammoth onus of conducting election is on the CEC, sir. We have witnessed ballot boxes being carried through rough areas in this country, sir. As part of a successive exercise of voting for crores of people in the country, sir, my party feels that time to time it is necessary that we review the functioning of electoral system, streamline procedures, and also provide adequate resource for smooth conduct of elections, sir. As part of this exercise, successive governments have brought amendments to electoral laws like the Representative of People's Act, sir. Today, the law is enacted with lot of riders, sir, to get the confidence of the voters, sir. Election committee, selection committee, search committee, qualification committee, so that free and fair election will take place in the country, sir. I am sure, sir, lot of members concerned, Minister will address, sir. With this, I conclude, sir. Thank you, sir.
Very effective. Shri Ajay Pratap Singh, 2 minutes, sir.
आदरणीय सभापति महोदय, सदन में जो बिल प्रस्तुत हुआ है, मैं इस बिल का समर्थन करता हूं। हमारे साथियों ने इस बिल के पक्ष विपक्ष में अपने तर्क दिए हैं। हमारे विपक्षी साथियों ने बहुत अच्छा प्रवचन किया है, लेकिन मैं उनको स्मरण दिलाना चाहता हूं कि इस देश में चुनाव में कदाचरण के कारण अगर किसी का चुनाव निरस्त हुआ है, देश के ऐसे पहली प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी थी, जिनके विरुद्ध फैसला इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने दिया था और जिसके परिणाम स्वरूप देश को एक इमरजेंसी भोगनी पड़ी थी। दूसरा, मैं इनको स्मरण दिलाना चाहता हूं कि जब चुनाव आयोग की ताकत का एहसास टी.एन. शेषन साहब ने इस देशवासियों को कराया और चुनाव आयोग की निष्पक्षता क्या होती है, चुनाव आयोग की निर्भीकता क्या होती है, तो चुनाव आयोग के पांव में बेड़ी डालने का अगर काम किया है तो तत्कालीन कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार ने किया है। इसलिए आज जब ये चुनाव आयोग की निष्पक्षता की बात करते हैं तो इनकी बातें थोड़ी सी बनावटी लगती हैं। हमारे साथियों ने इस बहस में भाग लेते हुए कहा है कि यहाँ पर जो चुनाव आयोग की नियुक्ति के लिए जो प्रावधान किए गए हैं, उस प्रावधान में जो चयन समिति बनाई गई है उसमें विपक्ष के नेता को रखा गया है और बहुमत सत्ता पक्ष का रखा गया है। और जो वोट की बात करते हैं, अगर विपक्ष के नेता को रखा गया है, सत्ता पक्ष के लोगों को रखा गया है, तो आपस में डिस्कस करके एक अच्छे निर्णय पे पहुंचने के लिए कहा गया है। हर समय हर जगह पर वोट की बात नहीं होती है। इस डेमोक्रेसी का अर्थ है चर्चा करना, चर्चा के पश्चात निष्कर्ष निकालना और इस देश की बेहतरी के लिए कुछ काम करना। तो जो चयन समिति बनाई गई है इस उद्देश्य से बनाई गई है। इसलिए सभापति महोदय, मैं इस बिल का समर्थन करते हुए अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
नॉट प्रेजेंट श्रीमती प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी, 2 मिनट्स। मेक मोस्ट ऑफ
मैं
इट।
इतनी लंबी स्पीच बनाकर आती हूँ, 2 मिनट की टाइमिंग की वजह से सब कुछ बर्बाद हो जाता है लिटरली, सर।
The world record. The world record for 100 meters is 9 seconds.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairman, sir. सर, इलेक्शन कमीशन की बात हो रही है। इलेक्शन कमीशन का काम सिर्फ फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस करना, इलेक्ट्रल रोल्स करना, इलेक्ट्रल रोल्स में जो अडल्ट हैं जो वोट करते हैं उनको एनरोल करना ही नहीं होता है। ये भी होता है कि अगर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ में कोई डिस्प्यूट होती है या स्प्लिट अराइज करती है तो उसमें निर्णायक डिसीजन और निष्पक्ष डिसीजन लेने की जिम्मेदारी इलेक्शन कमीशन की होती है। महाराष्ट्र में 2 पार्टीज़ का स्प्लिट हुआ, एक का अभी भी डिस्कशन चल रहा है, आर्ग्यूमेंट चल रहा है इलेक्शन कमीशन में, एक का सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। मैं बस यही कहना चाहती हूँ सर, अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन के डिसीजंस 2:1 होंगे तो ये निष्पक्ष कहीं से नहीं होंगे। हर बार एक डिसीजन में बायस ही होगा और सेक्शन 8 जो इसमें इंट्रोड्यूस किया है उसमें ये हो गया है वन वर्सेस नन। अगर प्रधानमंत्री जी ये निर्णय ले लें कि ये जो सर्च कमेटी के चॉइसेस हैं, सिलेक्ट कमेटी के चॉइसेस हैं, उनको किसी का पालन नहीं करना है, उनका खुद का एक कोई डिसीजन होगा, उसको भी मान्य रखा गया एज पर सेक्शन 8। तो मेरा मानना बस ये है, और रिक्वेस्ट क्योंकि 2 मिनट, अच्छा मेरे पास 50 सेकेंड और है सर, मेरा मानना बस यही है सर कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट को अगर कोर्ट करूंगी तो यहाँ पे दिक्कत होती है। तो जो बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर जी ने
थैंक यू
अरे सर 50 सेकेंड है, अभी 40 सेकेंड है सर। मैं बस बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर जी ने जो स्पिरिट में कहा था जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली थी और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना था कि गवर्नमेंट के इंटरफेरेंस से इसको दूर रखना चाहिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसी स्पिरिट में अपना ये जो उनका वर्डिक्ट था दिया था। तो उसी स्पिरिट को बरकरार रखते हुए सरकार की जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन हैज टू बी टोटली फ्री एंड फेयर ऑफ बायस, और वो मैं आपके माध्यम से
श्रीमती वंदना चौहान।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू
सर।
2 minutes मैम।
Sir, the Election Commission plays an exceptionally important role in upholding the democratic structure of our country, sir. Test of credibility of the Election Commission is not only in the efficiency and the fairness of election, but also in the neutrality where Election Commission has to show that it does not bow down to the ruling party, sir. Lately, turning a blind eye by the Election Commission when the ruling party netas delivered hate speeches or resorted to indecent character assassination or quoting false facts and figures. And on the other side, sir, putting behind bars members of the opposition, even at the slightest slip of the word or seemed like a slightest slip, shows the changing role of the once extremely credible Election Commission, sir. Sir, in my limited time, I will just touch upon 3 points. Sir, first question I would like to ask the Honourable Minister. Why has the government not included the Chief Justice of India in the selection committee in spite of a specific directive in the judgment, in the Supreme Court ruling? Second, sir, with so much executive control with the Election Commission, will it not become a yes man of the present dispensation? Third, sir, Clause 6 says that the search committee is supposed to submit 5 members on the panel. So why only 5? Why not all members? And that too, after submitting the 5 names, it's up to the selection committee whether they want to accept it or not or just shun it totally. Sir, with elections around the corner in 2024, with the sudden introduction of the bill, that too bypassing the order of the Supreme Court, the move is suspect, sir. This bill in the present form, my submission, sir, is a mockery of the expectations of the people and the democracy as a whole. Thank you, sir.
Shri Arjun Meghwal. Arjun Ram Meghwal.
My point of order, sir, is Rule 35, which I want to place on record. Rule 35, we have allotted, Business Advisory Committee has allotted 6 hours for this discussion.
You were not
I know, sir, we've had a discussion at the back. The government has forfeited 2.5 hours of time, of its own time.
Honorable member,
yes,
you were
sir.
not present in the House.
Sir,
I will
place on record, yes.
No, it will not go on record. Once again, nothing will go on record. I have not given the floor. I had taken sense of the House. Leaders had spoken to me. The House had authorized it. Anyone questioning the House?
I'm not questioning, sir.
If you are not present, no one can help you. Sorry. No, how can you? You are putting on record something which the House has approved. Sense of the House was taken. House is supreme. We can't allow this. I have gone by the House sense, Honorable Minister, to reply the discussion.
धन्यवाद सभापति महोदय। अभी थोड़ी बात रिप्लाई के बाद क्लैरिफिकेशन होती रहेगा। आदरणीय सभापति महोदय, आज जो चर्चा हुई है बिल पर,
मैं आभारी हूं 26 ऐसे मान्य सदस्य जिन्होंने भाग लिया। चर्चा शुरू की श्री रणदीप सिंह सुरजेवाला जी ने कांग्रेस से, और समाप्त की वंदना चौहान एनसीपी तक 26 लोग बोले। कुछ लोग जल्दी में बोले होंगे लेकिन सुझाव बहुत शानदार थे, इसलिए मैं सभी का ही आभार प्रकट करता हूं आपके माध्यम से। चेयरमैन सर, एक 91 में एक एक्ट आया जिसमें एक कमी रह गई थी, अदरवाइज ये हाउस में अभी चर्चा में ही नहीं आता। अब 91 में कैसे कमी रह गई उस विषय में मैं नहीं जाऊंगा। एक एक्ट बनाया क्योंकि आर्टिकल 3 to 4 में पार्लियामेंट एक्ट बनाए, ये संविधान निर्माताओं ने कहा था, लेकिन गलती रह गई, 91 तक नहीं बना। 91 में बनाया, उसका शीर्षक था द इलेक्शन कमीशन, कंडीशन ऑफ सर्विस ऑफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स एंड ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ बिजनेस एक्ट 1991। तो जब कोई पीआईएल में कहा तो उन्होंने कहा अपॉइंटमेंट में तो आपने एक्ट ही नहीं बनाया। और संविधान निर्माताओं ने आर्टिकल 3242 में ये कहा था कि पार्लियामेंट के द्वारा इसके अपॉइंटमेंट को, प्रक्रिया को लेकर के कानून बनाएंगे। एक लिमिटेड पर्पज के लिए मैं आपके बीच में आज खड़ा हूं। अब जब 91 में इसमें कमी थी तो फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा भाई कानून बनाओ। तो कानून बनाने के समय उन्होंने जब तक कानून नहीं बने तब तक उन्होंने एक स्टॉप गैप अरेंजमेंट किया, जिसका ये जिक्र कर रहे थे, कमेटी बना दी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, और बार बार उसी का ही जिक्र कर रहे थे कि संविधान की आप धज्जियां उड़ा रहे हो, संविधान का कहना, संविधान ने कहा उसको नहीं मानते हो। मैं, आप चूंकि संविधान के ज्ञाता हैं सर, मैं कहता हूं कि आर्टिकल 3 to 4 भी संविधान निर्माताओं ने लिखा, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा संसद कानून बनाएगी, चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर उनके लिए। और आर्टिकल 50 भी, चेयरमैन सर मैं आपका ध्यान चाहूंगा, आर्टिकल 50 भी संविधान निर्माताओं ने ही बनाया, जिसका पर्पज है सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर। जुडिशरी भी एग्जीक्यूटिव में इंटरफेरेंस नहीं करेगी, एग्जीक्यूटिव भी जुडिशरी में इंटरफेरेंस नहीं करेगी। ये सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर भी तो आर्टिकल 50 है, हम उसके तहत ये बिल लेके आए हैं।
नहीं, लेजिस्लेचर में भी इंटरफेरेंस नहीं करेगी।
हाँ, लेजिस्लेचर में भी डिफरेंस नहीं करेगी, बिल्कुल। सब अपना अपना काम करेंगे, एग्जीक्यूटिव अपना काम करेंगे, लेजिस्लेटर अपना काम करेंगे और जुडिशरी अपना काम करेंगे। ये जो आर्टिकल 50 है, ये संविधान निर्माताओं ने तो डाला साहब, तो संविधान से ऊपर कोई नहीं, हम भी मानते हैं। और हमें सुरजेवाला जी ज्ञान दे रहे थे, पता नहीं क्यों दे रहे थे, 1-2-3 उन्होंने कहावतें कही, तो एक कहावत मैं कहूंगा सर, आप राजस्थानी हैं, मारवाड़ी जानते हैं, वो बैठे भी होंगे आप। सुरजेवाला जी शायद आपने हिये में कांक्षी नहीं फेरी। हिये में कांक्षी, हिया का मतलब यहाँ हृदय होता है, और उसको आप ऐसे कबीर की भाषा में ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि आपने अंदर झांक करके नहीं देखा। और अगर अंग्रेजी में बोलूं तो आप जो बोल रहे थे सारी कहावतें, वो ठीक नहीं थी। आप दोज हु हैव नॉट इंट्रोस्पेक्टेड देमसेल्फ, वो हमें शिक्षा दे रहे हैं। आपने नवीन चावला साहब को कैसे बनाया जी, पता है? MS गिल साहब को कैसे बनाया जी? आइडियोलॉजी सबको पता थी, लेकिन हम उसमें जाना नहीं चाहते। हम आज एक लिमिटेड पर्पज के लिए आपके बीच में हैं। मैं 2-4 जो मौलिक प्रश्न आए, जैसे अमर पटनायक साहब ने बहुत मौलिक प्रश्न उठाए। नहीं, ये मैं कांक्षी नहीं फेरी, मैंने इतना ही कहा था। हिये मतलब मारवाड़ी में हिये का मतलब हृदय,
गो एड।
और कांक्षी फेरने का मतलब उसमें अगर कोई गड़बड़ है तो निकलती है, मतलब इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करो, जैसे कबीर ने कहा अंदर झांक करके देखो। तो इन्होंने अंदर झांक के देखा ही नहीं, हमारे ऊपर आरोप लगाने लगे। संविधान को भी नहीं, उन्होंने कहा संविधान से ऊपर कोई नहीं। भाई कोई नहीं, हम भी मानते हैं। आप भी पढ़ लीजिए ना आर्टिकल 50, आप भी पढ़ लीजिए आर्टिकल 3 to 4। आपने 91 में कानून में कमी क्यों रखी? मैं फिर बाबा साहब को याद करते कहूंगा, बाबा साहब ने कहा था 25 नवंबर 1949, इन्होंने भी कोट किया, मैं भी कोट करना चाहता हूं। उन्होंने कहा कि हम इस बात का संकल्प करें कि जो बुराइयां हमारे मार्ग में हैं और जिनके कारण जनता के लिए सरकार को जनता द्वारा सरकार से अधिक पसंद करती, जनता के लिए सरकार को जनता द्वारा सरकार से अधिक पसंद, उन बुराइयों को सुलझाने में विलंब नहीं करे। ये बुराई थी साहब, क्योंकि इसमें इंटरफेरेंस कोई भी कर जाता था। अब ये तो एग्जीक्यूटिव फंक्शन है ना साहब, सबको पता है। अच्छा, ये कह रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री क्यों होना चाहिए? अब इस देश के जनता ने वी द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया, ये हमारे संविधान का पहला वाक्य है, और जनता ने प्रधानमंत्री जी को चुना, और प्रधानमंत्री नहीं होना चाहिए सिलेक्शन कमेटी में। साहब ये मेरे समझ में नहीं आता कि ये कैसा आर्गुमेंट कर रहे थे, और एग्जीक्यूटिव फंक्शन में प्रधानमंत्री का कोई रोल ही नहीं है क्या? और जो लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन है जो हमने इसमें सिलेक्शन कमेटी में दिया, उसका तो जिक्र ही नहीं किया जिसने भी बोला। तो मैं आपके माध्यम से ये कहना चाहता हूं साहब, है
ऑपोजिशन लीडर इतना कमजोर है, ऐसे करके क्यों निकल रहा है?
मैं आपके माध्यम से 2-3 चीजें कहता हूं साहब। ये लिमिटेड पर्पज के लिए बिल है। 10 अगस्त 2023 को राज्यसभा में बिल इंट्रोड्यूस किया था मैंने। 91 के एक्ट को हम रिप्लेस करके ये बिल लेके आए हैं। अपॉइंटमेंट का इसमें प्रावधान नहीं था, इसलिए अपॉइंटमेंट का प्रावधान इसमें जोड़ा है। और ये 2 मार्च 2023 को जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला आया था, मैंने उसमें यही कहा था। उन्होंने कहा कि जब तक संसद कोई कानून नहीं बनावे तब तक हम ये कमेटी बनाते हैं। तो कानून सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कहने के अनुसार ही लेकर के आ रहे हैं कानून। जो मैं अमर पटनायक साहब ने कहा रिमूवल, सर रिमूवल का प्रावधान जहां तक मैं समझता हूं, चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर को उसी तरीके और उसी ग्राउंड के आधार पर हटाया जा सकता है जिस प्रक्रिया से माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के न्यायाधीश को हटाया जा सकता है। चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर संविधान के अनुच्छेद 124 के क्लॉज 4 में उस प्रक्रिया का वर्णन है। संविधान के अनुच्छेद 124 के क्लॉज 4 में उस प्रक्रिया का वर्णन है जिसके तहत माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के न्यायाधीश को हटाने के लिए जो प्रक्रिया का वर्णन दिया हुआ है, वही प्रक्रिया चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर के रूप में होगी। जहां तक इलेक्शन कमिश्नर को हटाने की बात है, वो भी संविधान में लिखा हुआ है सर, आर्टिकल 3 to 4 में लिखा हुआ है। जहां तक इलेक्शन कमिश्नर को हटाने की बात है, इसके विषय में संविधान के अनुच्छेद 324 के तहत क्लॉज 5 के तहत प्रावधान है कि इलेक्शन कमिश्नर को चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की अनुशंसा पर हटाया जा सकता है। ये दोनों चीजें क्लियर है जो आपने मुद्दा उठाया था, इसलिए मैंने इसको जिक्र किया। दूसरा, किसी ने कहा साहब ये जो चुनाव नहीं कराते हैं वो चुनाव को क्या जानते हैं साहब? अब साहब मैं भी जिले में जिला कलेक्टर रहा, उस समय तो हमने कोई चुनाव लड़ा ही नहीं, तो क्या हम चुनाव नहीं कराते थे? मैं आपके माध्यम से कहना चाहता हूं, इस चुनाव आयोग की जो कार्य प्रणाली है वो निष्पक्ष है, निष्पक्ष रहेगी। सरकार भी निष्पक्ष रखने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कालखंड में जो जितनी भी संस्थाएं वो निष्पक्ष तरीके से काम करें, इसके लिए हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं। है ही साहब, इसमें तो कोई शक ही नहीं है सर। हाँ, आप तो मैंने अभी MS गिल साहब का नाम लिया, मैंने चावला साहब का नाम लिया। अच्छा, जिस समय अभी किसी ने जिक्र किया, ठाकुर साहब ने कहा या पता नहीं किसने कहा कि अभी JP होते तो हमारा विरोध करते। मैं स्पष्ट कहता हूं साहब, अगर जयप्रकाश नारायण जिंदा होते ना, नरेंद्र मोदी जी का समर्थन 100% नरेंद्र मोदी जी का समर्थन करते, इसमें कोई शक नहीं। अच्छा, मनोज झा साहब नरेंद्र मोदी जी का ही समर्थन करते। सर, एक ऑफिशियल अमेंडमेंट भी मैं लेकर के आया हूं। जब ये मूल बिल आया था उसमें काफी चीजें आई थी चर्चा में, तो एक सरकार संवेदनशील है इसलिए सोचती है।
माननीय मंत्री जी, रणदीप सुरजेवाला जी ने कुछ महत्वपूर्ण संकेत दिए थे, उन पर तो आप सहमति व्यक्त कर सकते हो। इन्होंने खास तौर से 4 फंडामेंटल्स ऑफ इलेक्शन कमीशन
मैं सहमति प्रकट करता हूँ।
हाँ, ये मतलब ये नहीं, ये
निष्पक्षता, निर्भीकता, पारदर्शिता, मुझे याद भी है सर, सुचिता।
फिर इन्होंने अनुरोध किया था कि इनका संरक्षण कीजिए।
इन्होंने हिये में कांक्षी नहीं फेरी सर, वो विषय एक ही था। देखिए सर, जो ऑफिशियल अमेंडमेंट लेकर के आया हूं, इसमें एक क्लॉज जो 6 था उसमें सर्च कमेटी, उसको थोड़ा हमने चेंज किया है। वो पहले कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी की अध्यक्षता में थी, अब वो लॉ मिनिस्ट्री की अध्यक्षता में है और 2 सेक्रेटरी उसके मेंबर हैं। सैलरी का विषय जो कई सदस्यों ने रखा, त्रिची सुहा साहब ने भी रखा सैलरी का विषय, लेकिन ऑफिशियल अमेंडमेंट के द्वारा सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज के बराबर सैलरी का प्रावधान कर दिया गया है। कंडीशन ऑफ सर्विस, ये क्लॉज 15 में हमने एक ऑफिशियल अमेंडमेंट किया है, जिसमें राष्ट्रपति रूल्स को नोटिफाई करके निर्धारित करेंगे, अधिसूचित करेंगे, ये प्रावधान हमने कर दिया है। और एक हमने क्लॉज 15A जोड़ा है, ये महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि एक महबूब नगर में तेलंगाना में एक विषय आ गया था कि चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर और कमिश्नर को किसी ट्रायल जज ने नोटिस भिजवा दिया था। तो प्रोटेक्शन से संबंधित एक क्लॉज हमने जोड़ा है 15A में। सीसी या ईसी अपनी ड्यूटी करते समय कोई कार्रवाई संपादित करेंगे, ड्यूटी करते समय सुनवाई या कोई भी आदेश देंगे, तो ऐसे प्रकरणों में उन पर कोई कोर्ट कार्रवाई नहीं कर सकेगा। ये प्रोटेक्शन की बात हमने कही है। मैं 2-3 चीजें और कह करके अपनी बात को समाप्त करने की कोशिश करूंगा, क्योंकि आप भी 6 बजे तक कह रहे थे वोटिंग का विषय। एक आपने कहा कि आईएसी क्यों, माननीय साई सुरजेवाला जी ने कहा था, अब तक तो 47 से तो ये 51 और 2 से तो चुनाव हो ही रहे ना सर। चुनाव आयोग की शाख भी बढ़ी है देश में, तो अब तक तो कोई गड़बड़ हुई नहीं ऐसी। और ये कह रहे हैं कि एक हमारे चड्डा साहब कह रहे थे, बैठे हैं शायद, ये कह रहे हैं कि आप तो किसी को भी बना सकते हो। साहब क्वालिफिकेशन दिए हुए आप बिल तो पूरा पढ़ लो, इसमें क्वालिफिकेशन दिए, उस क्वालिफिकेशन के अनुसार ही बनेगा, किसी को नहीं बना सकते। सेक्रेटरी रैंक क्वालिफिकेशन दी हुई है, तो आपको बिल तो पढ़ ही लेना चाहिए था।
जब आईएएस ज्वाइन करेंगे तब।
दूसरा साहब, मैं ये जो द्वार सरकार साहब ने कुछ मुद्दे उठाए, आपने अच्छी बात कही कि साहब बाढ़ आ गई थी, वोट पे भी नहीं, अच्छी बात है, वोट पे भी चुनाव की प्रक्रिया। मैं तो राजस्थान का रेगिस्तान का रहने वाला हूं, सब धोरे हैं मेरे यहाँ तो सैंड ड्यून्स हैं। मैंने देखा हम ऊंट पर बैठ करके वोट देने जाते थे। चुनाव आयोग की इतनी खासियत है कि हमारे जो दूर गांव था उसके लिए ऊंट गाड़ा रखते थे कि ऊंट पे बैठ करके वोट देने जाओ। तो ये सब प्रक्रियाएं होती रही है साहब चुनाव आयोग ने, और ऐसे हम ईयर टू ईयर, इलेक्शन टू इलेक्शन सीखते आए, और चुनाव आयोग ने अपनी साख भी कमाई है और निष्पक्षता भी बरकरार रखी है। एक विषय जो कहा चड्डा साहब ने, पता नहीं कांग्रेस पार्टी कैसे लेगी मुझे पता नहीं, इन्होंने कहा आप कुछ ऐसे अमेंडमेंट कर लो, मेरे सुझाव मान लो, मैं सारे अपोजिशन को एक कर दूंगा। तो ये क्या खड़गे साहब का रूप धारण करके बोल रहे थे, ये मेरे समझ में नहीं आया है, थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन मेरे को हो गया था। मैंने कहा क्या विषय था, है?
No, Randeep Surjewala ji, no reflection has been made to you. No, not attributing to you. Not attributing to you. No. I've taken note of it. Attributing neither to you,
कहा था साहब, मैंने सुना
not to Mr. Raghav
आपने कहा था कि आप मेरे सुझाव मान लो, सारे अपोजिशन को मैं एक कर दूंगा। तो आप लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन की तरह बोल रहे थे, तो मैंने कहा आपने खड़गे साहब का स्थान ले लिया क्या? मैंने इतना ही कहा।
This is a lighter moment. Go ahead.
अच्छा, तो मैं आपसे अनुरोध करता हूं कि ये कोई जो हम बिल लेकर के आए हैं, कोई सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के खिलाफ नहीं है सर। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो निर्देश दिए हैं उसके तहत ही हम लेके आए हैं। संविधान के आर्टिकल 3242 में जो प्रावधान है उसके तहत ही लेके आए हैं। सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर जो आर्टिकल 50 में है, संविधान में लिखा हुआ है, उसके तहत ही लेके आए हैं। इसलिए मैं अनुरोध करूंगा आपके माध्यम से कि इस बिल को सर्वसम्मति से पास करें। ये बहुत प्रोग्रेसिव लॉ है। थैंक यू सर।
एक सेकंड तिरु जी, एक सेकंड। Sir, there is no provision for clarification. No. I shall now put the... Nothing will go on record. Nothing will go on record. Okay. One second. Sukhendu Sekhar Ray. No, he had indicated earlier also.
I have only one constitutional point.
Okay, one second.
Because according to my party, this bill suffers from unreasonableness and arbitrariness. Why I am saying so? Because there is no reasonable nexus between the objects and the provision of bill, in as much as nothing has spelled out in the bill as to why the Chief Justice has been replaced by a minister, although the norm set up by the Supreme Court continued for long 8 years and continued to be held good. So why this replacement? There is no clarification from the minister.
I shall now put the amendment. 1 second. Okay, Honorable Minister. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. John Brittas for reference of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, appointment, conditions of service and term of office bill 2023 to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha to vote. The question is that the bill to regulate the appointment, conditions of service and term of office of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, the procedure for transaction of business by Election Commission and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto be referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha consisting of the following: Shri Vikas Ranjan Bhattacharya, Dr. John Brittas, Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, Shri Ilamaram Karim, Shri Jos K Mani, Shri A. Rahim, Shri Tiruchi Shiva, Dr. V. Sivdasan, with instructions to report by the last day of the first week of the next 263rd session of the Rajya Sabha. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendment is negative.
You didn't call me personally. You are reading all the names.
No.
I move the amendment.
No. You are part of a committee. No.
Each and every member should be called and ask whether you are moving or not.
Take your seat. Take your seat. 1 second, take your seat. Honorable members, I am scrupulously following the procedure. It was already indicated. Do you want to move? That has been moved. Now it is negative. The amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. V. Sivdasan for reference of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners' appointment, conditions of service and term of office bill 2023 to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha to vote. The question is that the bill to regulate the appointment, conditions of service and term of office of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, the procedure for transaction of business by the Election Commission and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto be referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha consisting of the following members: Shri Ilamaram Karim, Shri A. Rahim, Shri Santosh Kumar P., Shri Binoy Vishwam, Dr. John Brittas, Dr. V. Sivdasan, with instructions to report by the last day of the first week of next 263rd session of the Rajya Sabha. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative. The question is that the Chief Election Commissioner and the other election commissioners' appointment, conditions of service and term of office bill 2023 be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clauses 2 to 4 stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clauses 2 to 4 are adopted. Clause 5 stands part of the bill. There are 3 amendments. Number 1 and 2 by Dr. John Brittas. Number 17 by Shri Ilamaram Karim. Are you moving the amendments?
I am, sir.
Are you moving amendments, yes or no?
I am moving the amendment to make the EC
amendments
neutral.
moved. I shall put the amendment moved by Dr. John Brittas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think high decibel. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it, the amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Shri Ilamaram Karim to vote. Is he here? Yes, sir. Okay. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it, the amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 5 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 5 is adopted. Clause 6 extends part of the bill. There are 4 amendments. Number 3 by Dr. John Bitas. Number 18 by Shri Ilamaram Karim. Number 24 by K.C. Venugopal, not present. Number 33 by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal. You move the amendments? Amendments moved. Except Shri K.C. Venugopal, who is not present. Shri Ilamaram Karim, is he present? Not present. Dr. John Bitas? Yes. I shall put the amendment moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendment is negative. Ilamaram Karim not present. K.C. Venugopal not present. I shall now put the amendment moved by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. I shall now put the clause 6 as amended to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The clause 6 as amended is adopted. Clause 7 stands part of the bill. There are 8 amendments, 4 and 5 by Dr. John Bitas. Number 19 and 20
Sir, I am moving the
by
amendments.
Shri Ilamaram Karim, not present. Number 25 by Shri K.C. Venugopal, not present. Number 26 and 27 by Dr. V. Shivdasan, not present. Present, yes, noted. Good.
Yes, I am moving.
I have noted your presence. You are very elegantly dressed today.
Yeah, because of...
Number 30 by Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, not present. Amendments moved as aforesaid. I shall put the amendments moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it. You also think the same way. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Dr. V. Shivdasan to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. No. Vote. I am putting it to vote. You say aye. So you are not convinced. So far not convinced. Those against will please say no. I think noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendments are negative. Well, Manoj Jha is not here. I shall now put clause 7 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 7 is adopted. Clause 8 stands part of the bill. There are 2 amendments. Number 6 by Dr. John Bitas. Number 31 by Professor Manoj Kumar Jha. You move the amendment? Dr. John Bitas? Yes. No, your voice is loud enough.
At least I need to say in mic, no? I move the amendment, sir.
Honorable members, now it is 6 p.m. If the House agrees, we may extend the sitting beyond 6 p.m. for disposal of the bill. I shall first put the amendment moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put the clause 8 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 8 is adopted. Clause 9 stands part of the bill. There are 5 amendments. Number 7 and 8 by Dr. John Bitas. Number 21 by Sri Ilamaram Karim, not present. Number 28 by Dr. V. Sivdasan. Number 32 by Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, not present. I shall put the amendments moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. It's a feeble voice. Good. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. V. Sivdasan to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. That's better. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put the clause 9 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The clause 9 is adopted. Clause 10 stands part of the bill. There are 8 amendments. Number 9 to 13 by Dr. John Bitas. Number 34 to 36 by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal. Moving. I shall first put the amendments moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the amendments are adopted. I shall now put the clause 10 as amended to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 10 as amended is adopted. Clause 11 stands part of the bill. There are 2 amendments. Number 14 by Dr. John Bitas. Number 37 by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal. Moving. Moved. I shall first put the amendment moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. I shall now put clause 11 as amended to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 11 as amended is adopted. Clause 12 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 12 is adopted. Clause 13 stands part of the bill. There is 1 amendment, number 15 by Dr. John Bitas. Amendment moved.
Sir, I am moving the amendment, sir.
Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 13 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The clause 13 is adopted. Clause 14 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 14 is adopted. Clause 15 stands part of the bill. There is 1 amendment. In the long race, at last, Dr. John Bitas has made an exit.
Sir,
number 38 is by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal.
Sir, the
your amendment is not there.
To protect the election commission.
Amendment moved. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. I shall now put clause 15 as amended to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 15 as amended is adopted. Insertion of new clause 15 capital A. There is one amendment for insertion of new clause 15 capital A, number 39 by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. I shall now put new clauses 15 capital A to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 15 capital A is adopted. Clause 16 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 16 is adopted. Clause 17 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments. Number 16 by Dr. John Bitas. One second. Number 29 by Dr. V. Sivdasan. Yes, Dr. John Bitas.
Thank you, sir.
You move the amendment.
Sir, I'm moving, sir. I'm moving the amendment, sir, to protect
Amendment moved. I shall put the amendment moved by Dr. John Bitas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Dr. V. Sivdasan to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. You moved?
Yes, sir.
I am putting it to vote now.
Yeah.
Those in favor will please say aye. You have a support. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 17 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 17 is adopted. Clause 18 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment. Number 22 by Shri Alamaram Karim, not there. I shall now put clause 18 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 18 is adopted. Clause 19 stands part of the bill. There are 5 amendments. Number 23 by Shri Ilamaram Karim. Numbers 40 to 43 by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal. Amendments moved. I shall put the amendments moved by Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. I shall now put the clause 19 as amended to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 19 as amended is adopted. Clause 20 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 20 is adopted. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title are adopted. Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal to move that the bill as amended be passed.
Honorable Chairman, sir, I move that the bill as amended be passed.
Motion moved that the bill as amended be passed. The question is that the bill as amended be passed. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. No, you were not required to stand. You were not required to stand. No, sitting. Sitting. Otherwise, if people rise to say yes, ayes and noes, while sitting. The bill as amended be passed. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill as amended is passed. The House stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, the 13th December 2023.
Regarding the women reservation. So I am representing the state of Kerala. Introduced the women reservation bill, introduced the district council, introduced the women reservation district council, constituted in 1990. I was a member of that district council member. So it itself shows the left party's commitment to the women reservation. Sir, but news comes from today's newspapers, comes out that Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti and the leaders, including CPM leader Yusuf Tarigami, is restricted to go out from their own houses. This shows that the democracy is challenging, is continuing there. How we can establish the democracy without the support of these strong leaders of that valley? Sir, I asked in the amendment, the first amendment reservation bill, when will you going to conduct the election? Whether it will be happen in this century. So I request you to establish the genuine democratic government in there, please. Don't try to any political game. Sir, at this time, myself and my party have a difference of opinion regarding the Honorable Supreme Court's verdict. Where I can submit. This is the platform. This is the only platform I can submit my difference of opinion, my party's difference of opinion. So I may be permitted to say something only. I'm going to more. Sir, only main point is there. Sir, the verdict has invaded going into merits of downgrading the state and Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories, stating that the Solicitor General has promised to return of statehood. At the same time, the creation of a separate Ladakh Union Territory is upheld, is valid. So the restoration is not for the original state of Jammu and Kashmir, but only a part of it, and even that remains an assurance on paper. Strangely, the Supreme Court direct